Take Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyakadeshatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadiyasya yatho anvayaditaratas Chardeshvabhignasvara Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Mukyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Trisargo Mrisha Amna Svena Sada Nirastapukam Satyam Param Dhimahi Hari Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahi Tejasvimnavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai Om Shanti 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 Om Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So today is the concluding session. Today we will first cover the remaining part about the Jyotish, which we could not cover somehow yesterday. And then we'll summarize the entire course, and Maharaj will be joining. I don't know when Maharaj will be joining, but if there are any questions, then you can ask Maharaj. Um, After that, there's one small topic also which is remaining that actually planned to cover, but now it's not left. About there is some description of uh, the coverings of the universe which is there in Brihad Bhagavatamrita when Gopakumar he is traveling, wherein that description, a very short description, but that we can cover. And so, I thought before first we can summarize what we have discussed up until now, and after that we can actually come to Jyotish. In that way, there can be a connection which can be established. In the course, it had it has got 7 sessions which were there. The first session, okay, was the introduction and Goloka and Avarana. So, like, of course, we did not put the Sanskrit word in the course or even in the video, but it will be edited now. Actually, there were Sanskrit names for each of the session which was there. So the first session was Prastavana, Goloka, and Avarana. So Prastavana means introduction, and we had began our discussion with why are we studying this course. Okay, and in short, if we want to say, it is to, as Prabhupada used to say, God is great, but we must know how great. So to study that, to know that. Then we had also discussed, like of course, Parikshit Maharaj, he also in 15.16, 5.16.123, when he's asking of the different questions, he says that he also expresses his interest. After that, we also have the statement Janma Karma Chame Devim Evam Yoviti Tattvata. And in a way, we are actually studying about the Lord and His Shakti, because as we had discussed, Madhvacharya's comment which is there in his Bhagavad Tatpara Nirnaya, so the commentary to 5.18.32, wherein he mentions that actually everything in this world is the energy of the Lord. So there is what we are basically studying is the manifestation of the energies of the Lord. So this was the introduction. Then we had discussed about Prabhupada, his interest, how he was so keen on having a temple of Vedic planetarium, which is now getting constructed. And he had given many directions on what is supposed to be there in, in the chandelier, which will be there. Actually, the Prabhupada uses the word, as we had discussed about the Kalachakra, because the Kalachakra, core of the Kalachakra is moving. So it is like inverted tree which is moving and it is attached to the pole star. If we compare it to a tree, the tree has got many branches. So like that, all the different luminary objects they are tied, and so all the branches they are tied to the root, to the trunk. So they all are tied and they move about the around the Dhruva Loka. Then we discussed the Sampradaya work on cosmology. In the Madhva Sampradaya, we have the Sri Vadirat Tirtha's Bhugol Varanam. In the Sri Sampradaya, we have Vedantishika's Bhugol Nirnaya, and also Tiru Venkata Ramanuja Jayar Swami's map of Bharatapinda and Purana Marga Dipika. We also have a description of, extensively, we find the description of the cosmology in different Puranas, in Mahabharata, in Ramayana, and specifically the development in ISKCON to speak about. So Prabhupada, Sri Prabhupada had sown the seeds. Then his disciple, his Sadaputta, he had actively began research into this. And he wrote the initial books about cosmology. Richard Thompson, Dr. Richard Thompson, his Karmi name. After that, his Holiness Danavel Goswami Maharaj. And so the construction, it began in 2007, in 2010. And in 2007, before Prabhuji left his body, he had completed uh, the diagram, 3D model of the cosmology, of the entire 14 planetary system. Then the Anvil Maharaj and team, they were also the actually director for TOEB for some time. After that, Antadeep Prabhu was there. Now someone else is there. I don't remember his name. So Danvir Maharaj, they and his team, they wrote the book Bhugol Tattva, and also they translated the commentaries on the fifth canto. All the commentaries which were there, from 5.16 to 5.26, all the chapters, all the commentaries get translated. And then Gokul Chandra Prabhu from ISKCON Salem, he made the Goloka chart. And after that, in ISKCON Chowpatty, this is Pavaneshwar Prabhu and his friend Vamshi Prabhu, if I'm not mistaken. And there is one more devotee in Chowpatty, who is Prema Gaurang. So now they wrote the Bhagavad Cosmology book. Also one book on the first two chapters of Surya Siddhanta. This is the how it evolved in ISKCON. Okay. The course, as we had discussed, it is the references from our Gaudiya literature, extensively based on Laghu Bhagavatam, Pritha Prihad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. From Madhva Sampradaya, it is based on Bhugol Varanam, the description of the 14 planetary systems, some content taken from Bhugol Varanam. Pavaneshwar Prabhu had also referred to this book in his Bhagavad Cosmology book. From Sri Sampradaya, Bhugol Nirnaya and Purana Marga Dipika, and their map of the Bharat Khanda, they referred Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Brahma Samhita, which is a Pancharatric text, it is not a Vedic text, and Surya Siddhanta. After that, we had discussed about the Goloka, how it is situated in the. So we have the Krishna Loka planet, one planet in the spiritual world, which is at the center of the spiritual world. And as we had discussed, in the center of the spiritual world is actually Goloka. But if a Matsya Avatar devotee goes, or a Kurma, so whatever if the associate form of the Lord, the devotee worship, when he goes, he will see that planet being in the center. But it is described that In reality, what is in center is Golokvrinda. So Krishna Loka, and it has got three parts: Dwarka, Mathura, and Gokul. And this Gokul, and between Mathura and Dwarka is Jagannath. We find the description from Brihad Bhagavatamrita and also from Navdeep Mahatmya of Bhakti Vinod. This Golok which we talk about, it has got two there is one portion at the outskirts, that is the Aishwarya Golok. Those who worship the Aishwarya Bhav, they attain there. We had discussed from Tirasana Sindhu's commentary, Bhakti Sindhu. This Gokul, then it has Vrindavan, Barsana, Nandagaon, Govardhana, and so the way it is here, that way it is there. Or rather, the way it is there, we have it over here. Okay. The Prakruta Leela and Aprakruta Leela, which was also discussed. There are some additional pastimes which we see on here. That is the bird pastime of the Lord, his killing of the demons. So those pastimes they are not seen in the Golok Vrindavan up there. Okay, and also the fact that so Shvetadip, at the outskirts we still have the Shvetadip, which is formed by the extra milk which is produced by the cows of Vrindavan. Okay? So there they form an ocean of milk, and there is the Navadvip which is there. And in the middle of the Goloka chart, you see the Radha Krishna. They are sitting on a golden throne beneath Kalpavriksha, served by their close associates. They were Vrindaranya, Kalpakumara, Srimad Ratnagara, Srimad Radha Srilagunda, Krishna Lady, Savior. This Goloka is like a Sahasrapada Kamalam. Ukulate Mahpadam. Okay, pervaded, we'd also discuss the Sambit, Sandhini, and Ladini potency. Okay, and also their interaction with the Jiva, Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and Tatastha Shakti, which is known. After that, we had also discussed the Karnikara Mahadyanam Shakkodam Vajakilakam Srangi Shadupana, Pratekurushan, so Premananda Mahadan, Mahananda, the Sat Jyoti Rupenam Tamari, Region Sangatam. So the middle portion which is there, it is in a hexagonal shape, the Gopal Gayatri, Om Klim Krishna Om Daya Gopijanam Vallabhaya Swaha, which is there. The deity of the mantra is Gopal himself, and how that mantra, the Klim word, it manifests as Om in this material world. Then we had discussed the surrounding of Goloka, the 8 jewels which are there in the 8 directions, the Adi Chaturdiya, the 24 forms of Vishnu which are there, and Vasudeva Sankarsha and Nirvana. They preside over the Mathura, Dwarka, Jagannath Puri. We had also discussed about East Dham, the difference in the rasa which is there. Post that, we had come to Vaikuntha. We first discussed about the Ayodhya Dham of Lord Bhagavan Ramachandra. Okay. Then Vaikuntha and the description of the Vaikuntha opulence, the gates of the opulence, the four gates in the 4 directions of Vaikuntha, the gatekeepers, the associates over there. Okay, and also the protectors of all the 8 directions in Vaikuntha. The description of the in the middlemost portion, we find the place of Mahanarayan, and how there is the city of Lord Narayan, and his extensive description of his Yoga Pita, which is there. All the 25 elements, Jnana, Vairagya, Sankhya, all the knowledge, everything, all the Aksharas, they are in their personified form, all the Vedas, they are present there. And the 4 Vedas, they are in their personified form. They are also surrounding the Goloka. In the Vaikuntha, in the Goloka chart, you can see that. Okay. Then we have discussed the 7 avaranas of the around Vaikuntha. Okay. The first being the Dvitiya Chaturvya in their wives corresponding to this. Second being the 24 forms of Vishnu. The third is the famous Dashavatara. Fourth is the eternal associates of the Lord, Vishwaksen, Ganesha, Durga, like that. The 5th avarana is the 4 Vedas, Yagna, Gayatri, Garuda, and Dharma in their personified form. 6th is the weapons of the Lord. And the 7th avarana was the devotees of the Lord. Okay, they are the 8 Lokapalas which we have in our material world. Starting from the east direction, Indra, Agni, Yama, Nirutti, Uh, then we have Varuna, Vayu, uh, Kubera, and then Lord Shiva. And this Lord Shiva, which is in the seventh Avarana, Ishana, correctly, in the northeastern direction, that is where we have our material universe situated. And then we had also discussed about the different avtaras of the Lord, Swayam Rupa, Tadekatma Rupa, okay, and then the Swamsa Rupa, and then the sixth form, the Leela Avtara, the Manandara Avtara, the Yuga Avtara, the Purusha Avtaras, the Shakti Avtaras, and Guna Avtaras. And also the Tadekatma Rupa has got two forms, the Vilasa and then the Swams. And there is a Prabhava and Vaibhava description, differentiation also which is there. After that, we had come to Brahman effulgence, discuss about the five types of mukti and the clarification between Sayuja mukti and merging into Brahman realization, into Brahman. So the Brahmavadis who are there and the Mayavadis, they strive to merge into the Brahman effulgence. So, I mean, so everyone must be knowing about it, but still I'm clarifying. So, Brahmavadis, they know about the personal form of the Lord also. They are fully aware of Vadanti Tat Tattva Visam Tattva and Maya Madhvem Brahmanti Paramadhim Bhavan Shabdit. But they still want to merge into Brahman, okay, to end there also. And but the Mayavadis, they don't believe into the personal form of the Lord. They when the Saguna Brahman, Nirguna Brahman, like that, they so they have a like a very corrupted understanding. But the aspiration is to merge into Brahman. Okay. So that was also discussed. Then we had discussed about the Viraja River. It surrounds the entirety of spiritual world. After that, we had discussed about the palace of Mahavishnu, which is there with all his associates. Then the Sarga part, the Lord glances. His glance, so that glance, the halo form is Shambhu. And Ramadevi, she carries a glance, and her shadow is the Maya Devi, that is the Pradhan. Most mature state, the most subtle state is the Pradhan. So in that glance consists of the Kala Karma Swabhava, the Jiva, and also the pores from his hair pores, the universes they emanate. And then this Pradhana, it gets agitated by the glance of the Lord. And then there the equilibrium of the Sattva Rajas it gets disturbed. Then Mahatattva, after that Sutra Tattva, after that Ahankar Tattva, Ahankar in Sattva, Ahankar in Rajas, Ahankar in Tamas, they form respectively the Manas and the Big Devtas. In Rajas, it forms the five Jnanendriyas, five Karmendriyas, Buddhi, and our Buddhi and Prana. And in Ahankar, in Tamas, they create the five Tanmatras and the five Mahabhutas, which is there. So they remain in that state. The patient doesn't go further. They are unable to carry forward the creation. They pray to the Lord. The Lord enters into each of the element as Antaryami. Vibrit Shakti, cohesive energy, they all merge together. And after that, they form, and the universal shells, the universe which emanate from his pores, they enter into the our chamber. Philosophy Siddhanta describes into the chamber of Prakriti, and then they get enveloped by these different layers which we have. And all of them they merge and they form a universal form, Adi Purush. Okay, 3.6.4. But that is not a universal form which we know about. Brahma Sandhava Jivasami clarifies that. That is the aggregate form of all the universes which are there. After that, it remains. So, Lord Mahavishnu, with a batch of jivas, he enters into each of the universe. As the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he fills that with half with his sweat, his perspiration, and he remains in that position for 1,000 years. Then a lotus emanates from his navel. And before that, there is the manifestation of the universal form. And again, we have uh, the when the Lord desired to smell, the nose appeared. When the Lord desired to see, the eyes appeared. That all the demigods say appear. But the Lord, he is not waking up. So they again re-enter into his body. But as soon as Vasudeva enters, he gains conscious. I mean, he is conscious only, but he kind of wakes. And before that, also, we had discussed about the five forms of Shiva. One is the Ishana, so Vishnu Tattva in the northeastern direction. Then we have the Shambhu, the glance of the Lord. Then the prototype Shambhu, which appears from the right and the left. So from his eyebrow of Mahavishnu, um, because we have the and from his legs appears the prototype Brahma and Vishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And so these prototype demigods, they give their um, powers to all the Brahmas and all the Shivas in each of the different universes. After that, we had discussed the uh, so that I just remembered, we had also discussed about the Ganesha Durga, which are present in the Avaranas. They are not the material demigods, but they are the spiritual associates of the Lord. The Shakti Tattva and the demigods who are there in this world, they get their power from, they get their form and power, everything from the original ones. Then, so the Lord enters, the universal form is created. Then the lotus emanates, Lord Brahma is there. He is bewildered what to do. He hears two words, the, pa. He meditates. After that, um, the knowledge is revealed to him, the Lord appears, and he begins the creation. He divides the lotus into first into three forms: the lower planetary system, middle planetary system, upper planetary system, then into 14 planetary system. And all the ingredients of the creation is also within that lotus. Now, the Brahma is in three forms, as we had discussed based on Bhagavatamrita: Vairaja Brahma, Chaturmukha Brahma, and Hiranyagarbha Brahma. So Vairaj is the gross form, the lotus form which is there. Chaturmukha Brahma is the Brahma which we know about. And Hiranyagarbha Brahma is the aggregate of all the jivas, and the Lord, only the Lord can see, or no other, even the demigods, they cannot see the form. That form is only for enjoyment. Right? So we had discussed all this. And then Brahma, he creates the creation, and in his creation, Visarga is also described the 10 types of creation. He creates ignorance, the 8 types of demigods, and all that thing we had discussed. Then we had discussed about the material world. It has got 14 planetary systems. First, we discussed about the Jambu. It has 7 islands, 7 oceans. The middlemost, the Jambu, is the Bhumandala, and the 7 islands, 7 oceans. The middlemost island is the Jambudvip. It has got 9 varshas separated by mountains. The dimensions also we discussed. In between, we have the Ilavarata Varsha. In between of that, we have the Mount Meru, 84,000 above the earth and 16,000 yojanas below the earth. It is, and it uniformly from at the top it is 32,000 yojanas and bottom it is 16,000 yojanas. On top of Mount Meru, we have the 8 cities, and in between we have in the center we have the abode of Lord Brahma. And the river Ganges, it comes down, it goes in the 4 directions. We can discuss that. Surrounding Mount Meru is the 2 mountains on each of the side. Then we have again the 4 mountains, Mandara, Meru Mandara, and like that we had in all the 4 directions. After that, we have the Kesharachal mountains, the 20 mountains who are on the same height as Mount Meru. They surround this. Then we discussed the Bharat Khanda, Bharatvarsh, which is where it has got 9 divisions. The 9th division is Bharat Khanda, and which is round in nature. Okay, our planet Earth basically, and it is attached to the Samudra ocean, which is there. Like it is attached to the South Pole, but there we have the attachment. After that, the 7 islands, the 7 oceans. At the 7th island, we have the Manasuttara mountain dividing the island into 2 parts. Above that is where the sun chariot it revolves, and beyond the Pushkar Deep, around Pushkar Deep, there are again the abodes of the 4 demigods: Indra, Yama, Varuna, and Kubera. And there is also a lotus with 10 million golden petals wherein Brahma, he has its sitting. So he has his residence over there atop Mount Menu and in Brahma Lotus. After that, we had a golden land, then the border, a diamond border, then Lokaloka mountain. So from middle of Mount Meru to the end of diamond border is 41.1 million yojanas. Then we have the Lokaloka mountain stretching for twice of this, that is 88.2. million years. So this total is 123, approximately 125 million years. And like this, we have the Aloka version beyond the Lokalaga mountains, because the Lokalaga mountains, they are from starting from Bhumandala, they are up until Dhruvaloka. So no sun rays can pass beyond them. Over there is also a pit of darkness, as described in Bhugal Varanam, where all the lowest of the lowest souls, they suffer over there. Then in the um, beneath the and this is in a inverted basket form, a pyramidal way. Then we have the Atala Vitala Sutara, Talatala Mahatala Vasatala, each of them, and 3,000 years and the difference between each subterranean planet. Beyond that, we have 11,000 years of extra Earth, and then we have the 28 hellish planets. Bhagavatam talks about 28 hellish planets, but in Garud Puran, we find the mention of 55 crore um, hellish planets which are there. Then we discuss about um, then so this is 101 lakh yojanas, okay, and that is how the Pushkar Deep is in line with the hellish planets. Beyond this, we beneath this we have the Lord Anandasesh, and he's holding all the universe. And Garbhodaksha Vishnu is there, who is beneath that is the Vayu Kurma, and also beneath the 28 hellish planets is the eight elephants which are there in the eight directions, and there are four elephants on the four directions on Mount Mira. Because of their tongue, the air which they exhale is the entire atmosphere which we have. Suppose that we have discussed the and on below Garbhodaka Vishnu, the Garbhodaka ocean, the layers of the universe, we have the Vishnu Purvam, under on whom resides all the universe, the entire universe and its three borders, the layers which are there. Then we discuss about the Bhuvarloka, the Svargaloka, the Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. 50 by 3 crore is their breadth, and they are at a height. And so above Manasaptara mountain at 1,001 lakh yojanas is our sun chariot, driven by 7 horses. The name of the 7 horses corresponds to the 7 meters, the six Chanda meters which we have. After that, we have discussed 1 lakh yojanas above sun is our planet moon. 3 lakh yojanas above that we have our nakshatra, uh, the 27 constellations. 2 lakh yojanas above that we have our planet Shukra. Like that we have all the 7 planets which are there. Then Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. Beyond Satyaloka, we have the Vaikuntha planet which is there. And then we have the universal coverings: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, Tattva, Rajas, Samas, Pradhan, Prakriti. 10 layers which are there, each one thicker than 10 times thicker than the previous one. Next, we had discussed about the Kala Chakra. Before that, we had also discussed how the Lord has his residences at many places in this universe. Based on Raghu Bhagavatam, we had covered that. In Shwetadeep, on top, on the north side of the saltwater ocean, also there is one abode in Swargaloka, in Tapaloka, in Maharloka, in Atala, in like in even in the subterranean planets. One of them, Matsya Avatar resides in another Varahadev resides. Like that, Lord has many apartments. Um, then we discuss about the Kala Chakra. It revolves around, tied to the pole star, and it is actually inclined 23 degrees, and it is revolving around. And the nakshatras and the rashis, they revolve with the Kala Chakra, and the planets, they lag behind. That's why we see it is an anti-clockwise direction. There's a video, I think so, I have not shared it. TOBP, they had made one video. You can just get a glimpse of how the 14 planetary system and how Kala Chakra revolve. It's a very simplified video, okay? But still, just to get some visual intuition, you can refer to it. So I'm just sharing it. You can refer to it later on. And Pavaneshwar Guru, he told that actually this was made under the guidance of His Grace Indrajit Prabhu. So I'm sharing that. You can later watch. After that, so the Kala Chakra and all the planets they lag behind, okay, and the eastward motion is what we have, is what is considered in Jyotish in time calculation, in the calculation of years, in months, and so forth. The planets, they do not move with a constant speed. They have an increase and a decrease. They also have a vertical kind of motion. So therefore, Mundos and Shigrocha. So the constant speed which we talk about is the mean motion, but the actual speed, the true speed, is when we apply the first correction, the four corrections to the mean motion, and thereby we understand the true motion of the planet. So which this also we had discussed. We had also discussed the basics of Panchanga. We'll cover today in more detail what a Panchanga is. Uh, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana, Var, Tithi, like that we had discussed. Also, we had discussed the orbital motion of the nine planets, and we had also discussed the concomitance of karma, jyotish, bhakti. That everyone in this life, in this world, is under the karmic cycle. There is no escape from that. Um, when one takes up to bhakti, Krishna kind of takes his file in his hands, and to the degree he surrendered, Krishna intervenes into his karma. Bhakti is also simultaneously destroying his karma, and the karma is prarabdha, bijakuta, and prarabdha. And Krishna changes his karma so that he advances not materially but spiritually. Sometimes he completely burns the karma, sometimes he gives more karma so that he suffers and advances more in bhakti. Sometimes Krishna kind of increases the intensity or decreases the intensity. Okay, that can and regarding Jyotish, it talks about the results of our previous karmic reactions which we are going to face. Okay, but in case of devotee, cannot be. It is not so that it will happen in that way only, because the Krishna can change karma, and also the factor of the three gunas. Those who are very sattvic in nature, the rishi munis, and Buddha also there might be some people. They can also choose karma. Okay, and those the karmic destruction which bhakti does, it continues from the Adho Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha up until Anatha Nivritti. It's the whole spectrum. When Anatha Nivritti is done, then Asakti, Ruchi, Bhava, Prem, and all of them they manifest. After that, the Apararabh Karma and everything is destroyed, and the Apararabh Karma remains, and he is in a Jivan Mukta state. And that advanced stage also, a devotee can choose karma. If on, he can postpone his death, and that ability is there. In Jyotish, there are two types of dosha which are there. One is the Kala dosha. It is not there in your chart. It is not your karma, but somehow the time is not good. So the recommendation is given. The precautionary measure is given that be aware of this time, take this precaution. For some good thing, good advice is also given. It's a good time. You can maybe make use of it. The Kundli dosha which is there, that is there in that is there in your karma. That also for that parihar is there. If someone is not just trying to beget a sin, with parihar, with proper yagna, tapa, and whatever is being described, sincerely if it is done properly, then the results will be given. If not done sincerely to 100%, then it will not be easy. Also, if the parihar will work or not, before that we see in the chart, the Devanukuli has to be the Guru position. Jupiter should be benefic, okay, and it should have a favorable aspect. I mean, there are many things. Otherwise, even if you do sincerely, but the parihar will not work. Okay? So that is how it works. And yes, I think all the points are covered. In the Sri Sampradaya, they have the concept of Alavar and Acharya. So Acharyas who come in this world, okay, they are given a prarabdha karma because they are to have a material body. So that can be seen from the chart. But they can still choose karma. And for Alavar, Sri Sampradaya say that even there, we should not see their chart because they are a different category. Like in our Sampradaya, we can have Vishnu Goswamis. There's no use of seeing their chart actually. And the Acharya Ganam which are over there, you can just see not their bhakti, but the external factors which are there that can be seen. Like how for Prabhupada it was predicted that he will establish 108 temples. All those things which can be seen. And bhakti, even in it can never be seen from the chart. Okay? Activities in bhakti. The external aspect of it can be seen. And thereby you can have an idea of bhakti also. Because our bhakti, we are in conditioned state. The way the external situation is, our bhakti also kind of is very much dependent on the external factors. So we can have some indications. So this was there what we had discussed up until yesterday's session. Now we will finally talk about Jyotish. I had shared the notes yesterday. You can refer to those notes. So on page number 47, and also in the not page number 47, this is from my notes. Um, in yesterday's notes, you also see the um, calculations which are given. We had discussed that, and then the diagram which is given for all the planets, and the true orbital motion which is there at the end. The right most is that. Then on the last page, on the last diagram which we have, okay, we see Bhavan Ramachandra's chart. So this is how chart is being made out. Okay. In Jyotish, there are three parts. Okay. There is a verse from here, Parashar Purashastra. So Ganita, uh, Jatak, and Samhita. There are three portions of Jyotish. Ganita is all the mathematics which we had discussed. The true orbital motion of the planets, the passing of the day and night, the calculation of Tithi, the so all the mathematical package which is there, that is dealt in Ganita portion. Okay, and so the there is one book by Mira, Pancha Siddhanta, wherein he has summarized the works from five books, five famous Siddhantas. So there were actually 18 Siddhantas, but what we have now is five, and with five prominent Varamira had translated this book. So Surya Siddhant of Surya Dev, Paulisha Siddhant of Paulisha Muni, Romaka Siddhant of Romaka Muni, Vashishta Siddhant of Vashishta Muni, and the Pitama Siddhant written by Lord Brahma himself. So Hora Ganita Samhita, three parts are there. Hora part which is there, it has got further three divisions. Okay, so not Jataka. So three divisions are Hora, Samhita, and Ganita. Ganita is all the mathematical backend. Hora has got three parts: Jataka, Prashna, and Muhurt. Jataka is the natal astrology, or what we commonly know of astrology. Okay, casting a chart and then analyzing the chart. Prashna is it is an advanced stage of astrology actually. So what happens in Prashna is so to see the chart of a person, you need to know the birth date of that person. Okay? The birth date, the time, and the location. Now, question may be asked that uh, anywhere we are on this planet, how does the location affects the planetary position? Okay, at this time, at this moment, if I'm in India, or some other person is there in America, the planetary motion is same, but the lagna changes. The lagna is dependent on sunrise. Sunrise in each different position, in different location, it changes. What is the lagna? It is a mathematical point. So on a particular day, when the point which rises at the time of sunrise, that is considered as the lagna, and it changes in every 2 hours because it is also a mathematical point which is moving with the Kala Chakra. Okay? So in every 2 hours, roughly, the lagna changes. So it is a mathematical point which moves with along the Kala Chakra. Okay, so this Jatak is what we commonly know as the astrology, the horary, the predictive astrology. Then Prashna. So when you don't have a birth chart, it is on the Prashna. So if I don't have my chart, so Prashna is you ask a question. And the moment the question is asked, at that time, a chart is casted. And then the answer is given to the question. Tambula, Ashtamangala, and Swarana. There are three types of Prashna which are there. So, and it is not just for one person. So anything can be asked. Practically any question can be asked. You may say, but it is a random thing, how it works, but it is the way it works. Okay, even for land, the Prashna Kundali is done. So if you purchase a land, there is some issue with the land, that also can be come up. So the simple thing is, you ask a question, a chart is casted out at that moment, and the chart is analyzed. How a normal person's chart is analyzed. Some rules they change, and then the answer is given. Okay, how it works we will discuss when we are talking about the Paratattvas, which I think. Then, so this is Hora. So Hora is actually basically it refers to one person. Okay, one when a person's and the chart is analyzed, that is Jataka. Or when a Muhurta, the third part which is there of Hora, it is the electional astrology. So based on the five uh, limbs which are there, Ara, Tithi, Nakshatra, Yoga, Karana, an auspicious Muhurta is selected. Okay? Muhurt, which is a period of time, and thereby the activities being told to perform. So based on different activities which are there, a different um time is given. Okay, for some activities, for marriage ceremony, one particular moment may be auspicious. For starting a war, also, for all the different activities, we will see it how you just understand. Hora, Ganita, Samhita. Hora has got three parts: Jatak, Prashna, and Muhurta. Okay, Ganit is the entire mathematical backend which is there. All the mathematics calculation at this moment where will when the solar eclipse is going to occur, when Guru is going to be in this particular position, when will this tithi end, all the mathematical backend which is. Then Samhita is the mundane astrology. So when astrology at a whole at scale is being discussed, that is the mundane astrology, Samhita. Okay, future of a particular country, the climate change which is going to take place, so that is Samhita. So for a country, the chart is being prepared and then it is being analyzed. So the principles they remain same, but the way it is applied is different. Okay, so for example, we'll see when we are discussing. Okay, so basically, okay, uh, like when we have the beginning of a new year, each year, okay, the Guru, what's the name of Gudi Padwa. So a new Samvatsar begins. Over there, actually, traditionally in villages, the astrologer used to, Jyotish used to come and he used to say, so what is going to happen this year, how will the climate will be, and accordingly, the farmers they are told to sow this kind of seed because there will be much less rain which will be received this year. So accordingly, you sow the seed. So which agricultural products are to be produced, that is being discussed. What natural calamity can come, that is being discussed. There's a war which is going to come, that is being discussed. So all the different, all the mundane thing, the thing at a scale that is being discussed in Samhita. Okay, so it's the same principle in Jataka, in an individual person, or in Prashna. So Prashna can be for an individual person, or it can be for the entire world also. Okay? And or it is Samhita for a entire global event. It is the same principles which are there. Application is little different, but it is the same things which are there. Now we have the in Jyotish, Jatak. There are four pillars of Jyotish: Graha, Rashi, Bhava, Varga. Graha, the planets, the nine planets which are there: Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu. The Rashis which are there: Mesh, Vrishabh, Mithun, Karka, Simha, Kanya, Tula, Vrishik, Dhanu, Makara, Kumbha, and then Meena Rashi which are there. 12 Rashis which are there. And also you can extend it to the 27 nakshatras which are there. The 12 houses which are there. We'll discuss what a house means. And Varga, divisional charts. So if you see the notes which I had shared yesterday, this is Bhavan Ramachandra's chart. Generally what happens is, uh, so there are, so this is a particular chart, okay? You can say it is a particular case study. And then there are astrological rules which are there. So you study the rules and you apply the rules to a particular chart. Okay. However, uh, Bhagavan Ramachandra's chart, we will discuss. Actually, you know, it is such an amazing chart, like a best chart which a person can have. All the planets, they are in their best position, position. They all are exalted. So you study the principle and you apply in your chart. But in Bhavan Ramachandra's chart and in Lord Krishna's chart, we study their chart and the principles derived. So we have the principle and we apply to the chart. But we have the chart and from there we get the principles. That exalted and that is the position. That's why I've attached the chart. So these three charts which are there, it is the same chart, but it is represented in different form, like the North Indian form. If some of you, if by chance you have seen Kuhli, the North Indian format is very prominent. Okay, it is diamond shape in the sense uh, it is a way of representation, and the left one is the South Indian way, and the down one is the eastern way. Okay. So what happens? So if you see, so we'll focus on the North Indian chart, okay? Because there are many actually prominently that is what you will see. So the first, so if you see the first hexagon, the first what is it? This is a square. Okay, the four number is written. Can you see that? Okay, you can someone can acknowledge. Four number is written. You have the word written ASC, that is ascent, that is Lagna actually. Moon and GUP. So GUP is Jupiter. Okay. Can you see that is the Lagna? That is our first house, which is there. So what happens is in any chart which you see that where that is the first house. So in North Indian chart, the house is fixed. First house, and then you have to go in the anti-clockwise direction. If you see, so four number is the first house, five number is the second house. Okay, so even the house number is given. So first, second, third. So houses are fixed. The Rashi they change. So four refers to the fourth Rashi. So Mesh, Vrushabha, um, so Mesh, Vrushabha, Mithun and Karka. So Bhagavan Ramachandra's Lagna is Vrushabha, Karka. Okay, so houses are fixed. Lagna change. In the South Indian chart, the Rashis are fixed and the houses they change. So if you see, Sun is in Mesh, AR. AR means Aries. Okay. TA is Taurus. G is Gemini. CN, so if you go in the clockwise direction, CN is Cancer, Aries, Leo, VI is Virgo, then Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. These are English names for the 12 rasis which we have. But the houses they change. So where you see ASC, ASC, that is the ascendant. So the English name for Lagna is ascendant. So that changes. Okay, so is this point very clear? Lagna, so the houses they are same in the 12 in the North Indian chart. In the South Indian chart, the Rashis they remain constant and the Lagna changes. Okay? But the calculation on the 12 houses, it is based on Lagna. The Lagna, in whichever Rashi it is, that Rashi becomes the first house. The next Rashi becomes the second house. The third Rashi, with respect to Lagna, becomes the third house. Is this clear? Any doubt which is there, you can ask, otherwise we will proceed further. Okay, because on this we will now build our discussion. So any doubts which are there, you can ask, otherwise we will continue. No doubts are there, so we will then continue. Okay, so we will continue. Now, each of this house, okay, before that, let us, because I have put the planets first. So all the planets, the Navagraha which are there, they signify something. Okay, this is known as Karakas, which are there. So Surya, Surya signifies the Atma. Surya signifies. So this is actually in a way, in Jyotish, first this thing is being remembered, and I should remember it. Okay, and gradually, so it is not that it represents only these things which are there. It represents many, many things. Okay. So once you understand the basic nature, you can actually kind of extrapolate it. Okay? So sun represents the soul. It represents the one career. It represents one's reputation, one's ego. It represents the self. The self-confidence, father, health also. Actually, it is not exactly the health which is there. Health is actually more represented by Mars, but some consider health also. One's prestige, honor, reputation, authority, affinity, and also worship for Lord Shiva. So you just understand it. Okay, it is. I know it's very difficult. You just understand. These are the significations of sun. It represents father. So in different domains, it represents different things. Okay, if you talk about career, it represents politician management. If you talk about family relations, it represents father. If you talk about deities, it represents Lord Shiva. Then we have Chandra, moon. It signifies mother. Okay, sun and moon, so father and mother. If sun represents the soul, moon represents our mind. That is why moon is very important. The Rashi in which the moon is there, we call it as Moon Rashi because each of the Rashis, so all the 12 houses, all the 12 Rashis, all the planets, all the 27 nakshatras, all of them, they have some signification, some properties which are there. That is how it has to be, this thing has to be remembered. And their interaction is what is seen in a Jyotish and a prediction is given. We'll see how it is there. First, you just understand what I'm talking about. Moon represents our mother, mind, happiness, peace, prosperity, heart, blood. Blood is also represented. Okay, because now to give you an intention how it is so. Our sun is very vibrant, the most luminous object in the whole of. It is what gives life to all the um, entire universe. Okay, of course, the Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, they are self-fulfilling, but all the three lokas below that is light is given by sun. So that is light, reputation. Okay, it is the king of all the planets. So with that, it represents sun. Moon, it denotes taste also because the moon rays it gives taste to all the vanaspati on this planet. And it also represents jewels, jewelry, and moon is very fast moving. So therefore, moon also represents travel. So when moon is in a particular position, it is very strong. The person will like to travel a lot. And also his mind is very flickery because the moon, it travels very fast, very quickly covers a kalachakra. The moon, it is very important because if there is some problem with the moon, it represents our mind. So in whichever Rashi it is, that is our Rashi. Like in Bhagavan Ramachandra's, the Rashi in Lagna is same. It's a very good thing. With the mind and the Lagna. So because the Lagna represents our external self and Moon Rashi represents our internal self. Okay. So and in all the Vishnu forms which they appear, this is a common criteria. The moon is there in the first house. So the Lagna and the Moon Rashi is the same. So they are same, inward and outward. And Chandra, so because it represents blood, any blood related issue which is there, okay, there is some affliction to the moon. Now you have to understand some words. Benefic is good, Shubha. Malefic is Ashubha. Okay. And affliction means the planet is afflicted. Planet is good, but because of there are some Shubha grahas which are there. The Guru, the most benefit planet. That's why we see the position of Guru. Daivanukulyam. That's right. If Guru's drishti is there, so no matter whatever problem is there in one's chart, it can be mitigated or it will be solved. Okay? Or Guru will protect. Then the next most auspicious planet is Shukra. Then the most auspicious planet is Chandra. And then Mercury, okay, it is it is a child. Okay. So there is one more analogy which is given. So you have Chandra is the Surya is the king, Chandra is the queen, Mangal is their son, prince. Okay. Uh, Shukra is the minister. Guru is the preceptor, Guru, the Guru of the king. Saturn is the servant, okay, of the king. So like this, okay, this is also important. Like all these things, it has to be remembered. And when one sees the chart, thereby, of course, the Uha Shakti is also there. Uha means anticipation. You know, that intuition should be there. Okay? So there are many, hundreds, thousands and thousands of principles which are there. As soon as you see a chart in the mind of a Jyotish, Hundreds of principles they will run. So we'll see how and Ramachandra's chart we will see and we can understand. So this is there with Chandra. Okay. With respect to Mangal, so Mangal is Angarak. Vedic name for that is Puja. So it is very passionate, anger and valor. It represents a younger brother and any initiative. He's the commander in chief of the army. He's the prince and he's the commander in chief of the army. Very cruel, very aggressive. So that is the strength. Like so, if Mangal is good, one's health remains very good. Okay? So uh, a valor to see the valor of a person, Mangal's position, and also the third house it is seen. Buddha it signifies the speech, the intelligence, the study, okay, the learning ability of a person to be specific, and also the maternal uncle, the trading skills. So all the trade, everything is seen from Buddha. Guru represents knowledge, intellect, intuition, blessings, religion, health, wealth, happiness. Okay, so all the sattvic things represented by Guru. Shukra is all this enjoyment. When you talk about enjoyment, it's all about Shukra. Okay, the spouse in a male chart, the spouse is seen by Shukra. In a female chart, the spouse is seen by Guru. So material comfort, luxury, the sexual ability of a person, vehicles, ornaments, literature, music, poetry, all of them they are represented by Shukra. So if Shukra is in a very bad position, then the character of a person is very, he is not of a good character. Okay? I mean, now, so this is not a rule. Again, I'm telling you, please don't think that you will become a Jyotish by remembering these things. These are significations. Along with this, we have the signification of the planets, of the houses, plus the nature of the rashis, plus the nakshatras, plus the but in which how planet is, in which rashi it is, because the planets they have their friends will see that. So there are many principles which are there. Shani represents pain, distress, sorrow, delay, and it gives us the actually the results of our karma. And it is a slow moving planet. That's why it delays everything. Okay? It never denies, it just delays the thing. Moon is a very quick moving planet. And also all the mining work, the anything beneath the earth, mining, extraction, that is represented by Shani. Shani is also Karak for career because hard work has to be done, karma has to be done. So Shani, Surya, and Buddha, the three of them, they are Karakas for career. Their position, their interaction with the 10th house has to be seen. Then Rahu represents deception, one way. Uh, it is drugs, intoxication, poison, deception, falsehood, cunningness, problems, confusion. So it's a very important planet. In a politician's chart, Rahu is very important because he deceives the person. Deceives the person. So in the planet, in the chart of magician or a very gangster, Rahu is very prominent in their chart. Mhm. So, but of course, Rahu, if it is, and so all the planets which are there, if they are in a good position, then they will give the good results. They are in a bad position, all of the planets they have a bad properties. Surya will give attitude, Chandra, fickleness of mind, excessive material enjoyment, Buddha, foolishness. It will give Guru, it is a benefic planet, but if it is in a bad position, um, uh, it can give complacence and it is also uh, overconfidence on oneself. You rely too much on your own. Oh, okay, I know everything about this stuff. No need of any suggestion. Shukra, excessive enjoyment or some character problem or anything, depending on the particular position. Shani, it gives you tremendous, it's very malefic health issues which are there. Rahu, if it is good, it gives spirituality and it is said that, I mean, it gives tremendous growth. So it can make from zero to hero, or it can make one from hero to zero. It's a very powerful planet, very Shaktishali planet is there. Okay. So and then Ketu burns everything, signifies recovery, freedom from debt, disease. It is occult, renunciation, and it actually burns everything. If Ketu is there in one's marriage, in the marriage house, or in the career, then actually it burns. Then all the houses, they also have a signification. The first house signifies our physical body complexion, intelligence in general, and also all the 12 planets, all the 12 houses, they represent one or the other, um, our health, one of the body parts which is represented. For example, the first house, that represents our head, and not just head, it also represents our brain, hair, and nervous system. The second house, it represents our wealth, assets, family, speech, eating habits, taste, death, voice, self-esteem, the pool in which we are born. The body part, it represents our face, our right ear, nose, teeth, and throat, which is there. Third house, it represents our younger cousins, siblings, confidence or courage, the initiative potency of a person, the communication potency of a person. So second house represents our speech, third house represents our communication. Okay, and it represents our ENT, okay, like the ENT, which are ears, nose, throat, and also our hands, and the nervous system. The fourth house represents our mother, vehicle, house, land, all the immovable property, our basic education, real estate, the property, how much property one person will have. It is seen from the fourth house, and the happiness of the mother, that is seen from the position of moon. Its relation with respect to the fourth house, and the body part which is represented is the our chest, basically it is represented. The chest, heart, the lung, the breast, that is seen from the fourth house. Fifth house is children, purva punya, intelligence, the speculation. So the stock market, like if a person is investing, because this is an extrapolation. Stock market was not there in the previous yogas, but speculation is seen from the fifth house. So that is extended. Okay, and extended is not that I am extending it, but Jyotish is also studied in a parampara. Okay, so the astrologers, time to time, they kind of extend it, and they um, they they see the property which is there, and then thereby they examine. For example, computer science. So different careers, they are also represented by different planets. Sun represents politician, moon represents healthcare industry. Okay, now why healthcare? Because mother, okay, recovery, happiness, that is represented by moon. Medicine, that is also represented by Chandra. So it gets extended. Mangal represents army officer. Okay, so in police, army, that is there from Mars. Mercury represents trading because Mercury is a karaka for trade. Also represents for being a reporter or a journalist because it is also a karaka for speech or communication. Guru is for being a priest, being a teacher, doing yagya. Shukra is for fashion designer or being a diplomat because Shukra also represents diplomacy. Okay, it represents the best material knowledge because Shukra is Shukracharya, the deity, the demigod, I mean, the guru of the all the demons. So who can know better uh, material knowledge, diplomacy than our Shukra? Then Shani, it is representing the engineering. Okay, all heavy duty engineering, mechanical engineering, that is represented by. So all the engineering fields, they can also be represented from the uh, Navagraha. So everything in this planet, on this material universe, it is represented by Jyotish. That's why I said that yesterday. There is nothing which is as extensive as the Navagraha. The basic Karakas, if you know, you can extend it to everything, like microbiology. That is also represented. I don't remember exactly, but that is represented by Ketu or by Shukra. Microbiology. Okay. So, if you know the basic properties, if you are expert in that, okay. Now we don't have to speculate somehow. Okay, the great Panditas of Jyotish Panditas in the 20th century, they have analyzed it. Even today, we have many great Pandits out there. Okay, and you will be also very happy to know this. Achyutanand, the son of Advaita Acharya, was a great Jyotish, and he had started one line of Jyotish. And Mahaprabhu, he had said that he had told Advaita Acharya, okay, that uh, I could not do. I can. I don't have. I've not done everything, but the line of Jyotish will be propounded. I mean, he will propel the line of Jyotish by Achyutanand. So that eastern line, the Odisha astrology which is there, we see it is from Achyutanand. Okay, so fully proper. And he was a Vaishnava. So and he had written many books. And in that line, we have the Raja Jyotishi of in the Darbar of King Orisha. Okay, so the current, some of you by chance, if you know, Pandit Sanjay Rath, he is in that line. Okay, and I mean, I learned many things from his books, amazing books which he has written. And there is also, if you want, someone is interested in Jyotish, if someone wants to do some stunt, okay, wants to trigger his mind. It's a very simple book, Vedic Astrology and Integrated Approach by PVR Narasimha Rao. He's also he's still on in this world. Okay, he's from South India, and he had also studied from Pandit Sanjay Rath. Okay, and the godfather of Jyotish, Dr. B.V. Raman, because he had started the Indian Council of Astrological Science, okay, IIAS, and he also founded the B.V. Raman Institute. So he had written many books and he had propounded the science of Jyotish in the 20th century. He brought it back, okay, and many other dignitaries. K.N. K.N. Rao was there. He's still there. I think he's in his late 90s. So many famous astrologers who are there, renowned astrologers, they were his students. Everything, I mean, so many books under his guidance is being written. Okay, you take the example of VP Goel, you take the example of N.S. Mehta, and so many books which I have read. The author of the books, they are the students of K.N. Rao. He's a great astrologer. He is still there. And so, what I was talking about, yeah, we were discussing about the planets, the signification of all the houses which are there, and that's why it is um, the our just a second, ensure that my screen. So they have extended the principles of Jyotisha. Okay, and in future also it can be extended. There is no uh, limitation to it. Next we have in the sixth house. Sixth house represents the enemy, the servant, the relatives, the mental tension, injury, car accident, and the roga which is there. Okay, and in terms of body, it is the lower abdomen and the intestine. And I think so I didn't speak about the body part represented by the fifth house, the stomach, digestion problem, upper back, and spinal cord also some say, and liver, pancreas that is represented by fifth house. The sixth house represents the lower part, the lower intestine, the colon, abdomen. Seventh house, very important house in current scenario, represents the marriage. So marriage, marital life, life partner, the passion of a person, the long journey. Okay, a short journey seen by third house, long journey seen by seventh house. Partner meaning also the business partner who is there. The death and The inner, the reproductive organs, the lower back, the kidney seen from the seventh house. Eighth house represents the um, longevity, the debt which we have, the obstacle, and also the inheritance which we have. The suddenness in one's life, that is also seen from eighth house. Then we have the body parts which it represents. It is our the inner um, portions which we have. Okay, and the guhyamgas, the genitals, the hips, that is represented by eighth house. Ninth house, very benefic house, represents the dharma which a person will do. Okay, his um, the bhagya which he has in this current life, also represents his father, teacher, boss in one office, fortune, religiousness, travel to a foreign country, past life, the grandchildren. Now, why grandchildren? So, first, fifth house represents our children, and the next ninth house is the fifth from fifth. So, children of children. So, like this, you have the house. They also, from a house to other house, you can also study that. For example, mother's mother is seen from the seventh house. Why so? Mother is seen from the fourth house. If you take that as Lagna, and then you see the fourth house, that is the seventh house. From your chart, you can see the chart of your parents. I mean, you can understand of your parents, of your siblings, of your spouse, your maternal uncle. So the blood relation of your parents and all those who are related to you by blood relation, that can be seen. And of course, your friends, relatives, your business partner, colleagues, above, they can also be seen. Okay, everything can be seen. So detailed the Jyotish is. Then the 10th house is the karma sthan, the growth, profession, father, karma, the conduct in society. What karma is going to do in this life, that has been seen. And ninth house represents our thighs, 10th house represents our knees, joints, bones in general. 11th house is all about gains. So it represents our elder co-bonds, our income, the gains, all the material things which we are going to enjoy, and also our social network which we have. And body part, it represents our calves and ankles and left ear. 12th house represents our loss, expenditure, punishment, imprisonment, hospitalization, pleasure in bed, okay, misfortune, expenditure, sleep, meditation, afterlife, the next life it comes from the 12th house, okay, and it represents our left eye or feet. So now, from uh, you can also, they are also interrelated to each one another. Your wife's, your um, spouse, father can be seen from the third house. So your wife is your seventh house. Now her ninth house is the father. So what is her ninth house? Becomes the third house of your chart. Okay, so let us take the example. One Ramchandra's example only. If you again go to his chart, so Bhagwan Kaushalya Devi can be seen from the fourth house. Uh, Dasharath Maharaj can be seen from the ninth house. Sita Devi from the seventh house, and Janak Maharaj from the ninth house from there. That is our third house. Her mother can be seen from the fourth house. That is our tenth. So they have a relation. Our one's children's spouse, they can be seen from the 11th house. Why so? Our children is fifth house and wife is seventh house. So the children's seventh house, seventh from there is our 11th house. They can be seen. So now then what happens is, so this is how you see. So when you see a chart, okay, you see of course, you can analyze everything which is there. Ideally, everything has to be analyzed. Okay. If there is a problem, okay, the question is about one particular aspect. So you see that related house. Okay, first you do a general study, how the planets are there. So all the planets, they have their own friends and their enemies which are there. Okay, and there is a story also which is there. So sun's friends are the moon, Mangal, and Guru, and his Shatru is Shani. Now there's a story also. So sun, the story of I don't exactly remember. So son's wife, she had to go for something. So she made her representative proper, exactly identical. That was Shaya Devi, whom even Suryadev could not identify. So through their intercourse, one son was born, and that was Saturn. And then Shaya Devi, she told, because when Saturn was born, Shani Devta was born, she was blackish in complexion. Surya Dev, he said that he cannot be my son. I am so effulgent. How can my son be so dark complexion? So then Chaya Devi, she told that actually I am not your wife. I am her Amsha. And she had to go for some, I think that she had to go for some austerity. So Surya Dev, he discarded the son, his son, Shani Devta. He said that he is such dark complexion. I cannot um, accept him. But Chaya Devi, because she was her son, she took care of her son. And later, when the son he grew, so there was the enmity between Shani and Surya. Because Shani he told that, how can you abandon me? Whatever is the situation, but I am your son. And from there, he represented the justice. So Nyaya is also seen from Surya, Shani Dev. So like this, we have the story for all the planets. Okay. So Guru and Buddha, they are not in good terms because Chandra, because he was so lusty, he begotten sons from Guru's wife, and that son was Buddha. So Guru still he accepted, Brihaspati had accepted it, but they are not in good terms. So Guru and Buddha are not in good terms. Like this, the reason behind why a particular planet is an enemy of a particular planet can be seen. So Surya's friends are the uh, Buddha, the Chandra, Mangal Guru, and he Buddha is neutral. Some say Buddha is also a friend of Surya, and Shukra and Shani they are not in good terms. Chandra, his friends are Sun and Mercury. Neutral are the Jupiter, Venus. So actually, for Saturn, for Moon, all the planets are friends. Moon countries are all planets to be friends. Mangal, his friends are Sun and Jupiter, and neutral are Saturn and Venus, and the the other planets which are there, the Mercury is the uh, Shatru. So Sun, Moon, Jupiter is the friends, Saturn and Venus is the neutral, the summer, neither friends nor enemies, and Mercury is Saturn, enemy. Okay, Mangal and Buddha, they are inimical in nature. For Mercury, the Mitra is Sun and Jupiter, Venus. The neutral are Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. The Shatru is Moon. Okay, so Moon considers all the planets to be his uh, friends, but but other planets they do not consider. Jupiter, the friends are Sun, Moon, Mars, and Shani is Sama, neutral, and Mercury and Venus they are enemy. For Shukra, it is Mercury and Shani. Sama are Mangal and Guru, and Sun and Moon they are enemy. Shukra. For Saturn, the enemies are Mercury and Venus. And neutral is Jupiter and Sun, Moon, Mars. They are enemies. Okay? And for Rahu, the friends are Mercury, Venus and Saturn. The neutral ones are Guru and Buddha. The Surya, Sun, Moon, Mars is the enemies. And for Ketu, Mangal and Shukra are the friends, and Sama are the Guru and Buddha, and Shatru are Shani, Surya, and Chandra. So what it means? So when if you see the chart, they are conjunct. So if two enemy planets they are conjunct, then good results are not seen because they are fight with each other. And each of the 12 rashis which are there, each of them they have a lordship. So if a planet is there in the house of a inimical uh, planet, then he is not in a good position. So, like nature, the first Rashi, Aries is ruled by Mars, Taurus is ruled by Venus, uh, Mercury, the Mithun Rashi is ruled by Mercury, Karka, Cancer Rashi is ruled by Moon, Simar is ruled by Sun, Kanya Rashi is ruled again by Moon, Mercury, and by Rahu also. Seventh, Tula, that is our um, what is this? Libra is ruled by Venus. Then the air sign, that is Vrishik, is ruled by Mangal and by Ketu also. Then the eighth, and then the ninth is the Dhanu. It is ruled by uh, Jupiter. Okay, and then 10th house is ruled by our 10th house is ruled by Saturn, and 11th house is ruled by again by Saturn and Rahu also, and 12th house is ruled by Moon. So, if in suppose for an example, Sun's house is um, uh, Leo, that is fifth house, Sima. Now, if Shani sits in that house, so Shani is in inimical house, so he's not in a good position. Because the meaning is that the Rashis which are there, they are inanimate. The Grahas are animate, and the 10th house is a particular aspect. For example, if you take the 10th house, let's say, is Vrushava. So, the Vrushava, and all the 12 houses, they also, the 12 Rashis, they also have their own properties. Okay. Like the Karka Rashi, they are very emotional. Sima Rashi, they are very, wherever they go, they are very visible. They are very good managers. Mithun Rashi, they are very analytical. Okay. Tula Rashi, they are very calculative. The Kanya Rashi, they are very calculative. Tula are very balancing. They are very good diplomats. Now, this also can be seen because Tula Rashi is represented, ruled by Shukra. And Shukra is diplomacy. Okay. Meena Rashi, the 12th Rashi, is very sattvic in nature. Why? Because it is represented by Guru. So it is very interrelated also. So when you study Jyotish, not today, but when you study it, you can see the interrelation which is there. So you have to remember many things, but other things you can just very well correlate. When Shani, Makara Rashi, it is they are very practical in nature. Okay. So like that, there are many properties of them. So if you have 10th house, and your 10th house is Vrishabha, is Rashi is there, okay, and there is Sun in that. So one thing is that Sun is in the 12th house, in the 10th house, and it is a good thing because Sun is a Karaka for career, and it is there in the 10th house career only. So he has got something because the planets which are there in uh, whichever house they are, the activities of those house will be pervaded by the properties of the that particular planet. So Karak, the 10th house is career. Sun is a Karak for career. That's a good thing. But the Rashi is Vrishabha Rashi. So it is the house of Venus. So Surya is not in good terms with Shukra. So it will be okay. It will not work in a full proper manner. Let's say it is in conjunct with Shani. So again, it will be in a very bad state. Okay? So that is how it is analyzed. So it is not everything is good, either everything is bad. Sometimes you are in a good Rashi, but with with an inimical planet, so then the results are modified. Sometimes very rare, but not very rare, but it's quite rare that you are in a good Rashi in a very good conjunction. Okay, so then everything is works well. So like that, it is there. Um, Next thing is, so then the planets when they are in conjunction, they form yogas which are. Okay, many different types of yogas which are there. Raja Yoga is there, and so like when the fifth lord and the ninth lord. Okay, 159. Okay, so before that we can cover this. So these houses which are there, they are also grouped in various groups. One group is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, four things are there, and there are 12 houses. So 159 is Dharma, 26, 2610 is Kama. So this 159 they are known as trines, trikonas which are there. Okay. So first trikona is the Dharma. Second trikona, we can see that Bhagavan Ramachandra's chart. So you can follow with that. So first house, fifth house, 12th house, and the ninth house, it represents the Dharma. The second house, sixth house, and 10th house represents the Artha. The third house, seventh house, 11th house represents Kama. This is also very logical. I mean, how it correlates. Kama, sense enjoyment. Okay. Now, seventh house is about your marriage and your desires which are there, your foreign travel. Okay, all desires which can be seen. And 11th house is all the gains which you see. And third house, the activities which you perform. So for Kama, the Kama Trikona is very well related to this. The first Trikona, 159, is Dharma. Now, first house is you yourself. Fifth house is your previous punya. Ninth house is what bhagya you have. So Dharma Trikona. So like that, all the houses, all the third trikona which is there, that is the third house. So Dharmartha, Kama, and Moksha. Fourth house, eighth house, and 12th house. Now 12th house represents your next life. Eighth house represents your out of the many things. It is your occult studies which are there, and spirituality is also. So that is why it is the trikona is the moksha trikona. So, and there are some houses which are good, some are malefic, benefic house, some are bad house. So, Dusthana, the sixth house, the eighth house, and 12th house, they are uh, malefic houses. Why so? Because they have properties. Sixth house represents roga, enemies, obstacles. Eighth house represents debt in loan, sudden downfall. 12th house represents your expenditure, your being in going in jail, hospitalization. So they are bad houses. 159 are good houses. Okay. So and each of the houses, when we say first lord, it is the lord of the Rasi of the first house. So when Bhavan Ramachandra's chart, the first house is uh, Karka, and his lord is Moon. So Lagna Lord, first house Lord is known as Lagna Lord because Lagna is in the first house. Is Moon, okay, which is very important. Okay, someone's chart, if it is Meena Lagna, so his Lagna Lord will be Jupiter because Jupiter is the Lagna Lord, and we have the fifth Lord. So the fifth Lord, fifth Rati, fifth house, suppose it has the like in Bhavan Ramachandra's um, chart. Um, it is, I think so, it is the Kumbha Rashi which is there. So it is Saturn. So Saturn is the fifth lord. So when the fifth lord and the ninth lord they are conjunct, that is Raja Yoga. The ninth lord and tenth lord when they are conjunct, that is known as the highest Raja Yoga. Dharma Karma Adipati Yoga. Dharma is the ninth lord, ninth house, and tenth is the Karma. So when they are conjunct, is Dharma Karma Adipati Yoga. For this yoga, there are many Raja Yoga which are present. But it is not that you experience them. Because the planets they give their results in their own particular dasha, which is. So there are many dashas, Vimshotari dasha, Ashtotari dasha, Narayana dasha, then Patyayini dasha, many dashas are there. So uh, most common, the famous one is the Vimshotari dasha, which is there, which is the so all the grahas they have their uh, dasha. In their dasha, and also the dasha they have their antar dasha, paryantar dasha, then sukshma antar dasha, and they antar dasha like that. Antar dashas are also there, and the planets they also exchange their results. if they are friendly planets. Like Sun and Moon, they are friends. So Sun will give Moon's results, Moon will give Sun's results. Or also if there is an exchange of sign. If Moon is there in Sun sign and Sun is there in Moon sign, so then also there will be a parivartana. So there are many things. It is not that Sun will give his result in Sun's dasha only. There are many rules. I'm just giving you a glimpse of it. So the Raja Yoga should, if the Raja Yoga and the Yoga and everything, it manifests in the particular dasha. So dasha, let's suppose it is uh, in the childhood of a person. So what Raj Yoga will manifest? Okay, because Raj Yoga, if it is there in his 20s or 30s, then there will be rise in his career. Okay, but if it is in his childhood, then Raj Yoga will be sense that he will have a good Raj Yoga. He will get many toys with which he can play. Okay? That is there. Now there is a very bad yoga which is there. So if there, or if Raj Yoga is in one's old age, so it will not fructify. So Dasha is also has to be seen for the results to be fructify. So because from the chart, we see what all things are there. Now when will it happen? We see the Dasha, the transit, the annual chart, and many more things. They are there. Now the Rashis, they have their properties. Some Rashis are movable, some are fixed, some are durable. Okay. Some are Sattvic Rashi, some are Rajasic Rashi, some are Tamasic Rashi. Some are Vata, some are Pitta, some are. So they are in cyclic order. First Rashi is movable. Second is fixed, that is dual. Then fourth one again will become movable. Then the fifth one fixed and dual. Okay, movable Rashis, it represents many things in different contexts. So they are thing, it represents a change. If you are talking about in Raja Jyotish, it represents that there is going to be a change. It is good or bad, that is a different thing. But there is going to be a change. Fixed ones, they are fixed. There's no, in Raj Jyotish, there's going to be no change. Whatever way it is, will remain. Okay. Or in case of a person, you can say it is a fixed. If a Moon Rashi is there, it's a fixed time, then it's a fixed determined person. Like Vrishabha Rashi, is a fixed because movable and then fixed. So those who are Vrishabha Rashi, they are determined. Nothing can move them. Okay, and which also makes sense from the nature of the sign. Because Vrishabha, Bail, which is there. He's a bull. The bull is when he sits. When he walks, he walks. So once he has determined, no one can change it. So like that, there are properties of all the Rashis in each other. Okay, so when we study the nature of a bird from Jyotish, also we can say that. Vada Pitta Kapha, which is there. So we say their Lagna Lord and their Moon Rashi. From where we come. Conclude. So to understand one's mentality, it is the moon and sign which is there, and the planets which are there. So planets, they give results of the Rashi in which they are, in the house which they are, the lordship which they are, and also the Karakas. For example, Sun is in the 10th house, and if he is the Lagna Lord, he will give the results of the Lagna Lord. Because he is the 10th house, he will signify that. And also he is the Karaka Tattva, he is the Karaka, and he has many things that will also be there. In addition to that, the grahas they have a drishti to the seventh. So all the grahas they cast a drishti. That is the interest when they cross to the seventh house. Okay, so the Shani drishti is there. So that house which is there, it will be some problematic state. Some problem will be there. Guru drishti is there, then the results will further modify. So drishti has to be seen. Okay, so for all planets they cast their seventh house drishti, but they like Sun or the Jupiter also has fifth house drishti and seventh. You can take the example of Ramachandra. So Bhavan Ramachandra's chart, and also at some point the planets are exalted, some point the planets are debilitated. So when they are exalted, they are the best, they get the best results. Not necessarily then, of course, there are nuances too. And when they are debilitated, they give their worst results. So Sun is exalted in the Mesha Rashi, Chandra is exalted in the Vrishabha Rashi, um, Mangal is exalted in the Makara Rashi, Buddha is exalted in the Kanya Rashi. Guru is exalted in the Karka Rashi. Shukra is exalted in the it is in the Meena Rashi. Shani is exalted in the uh, seventh house, that is the seventh Rashi, that is the Tula Rashi, and Rahu is exalted. There are two opinions to it. Some say in Vrishabha Rashi, some say in the Mithuna Rashi, and Ketu is exalted in uh, the Vrishabha Rashi or the Kanya Rashi, and they are also debilitated. So in the seventh Rashi from there, the Sun is exalted in the Mesha Rashi. Seventh from that is the Tula Rashi. So over there it is debilitated. Shani is exalted in the seventh Rashi. Seventh from there, that is first Rashi, that is Mesha Rashi. Over there it is debilitated. So like that you can see for all the planets which is there. If you see Bhagavan Ramachandra's Rashi, Bhagavan Ramachandra's chart, Guru is there in the fourth Rashi, exalted. Guru is there in the first one. Shani is there in the fourth house, in Tula Rashi, exalted. Rahu and Ketu, they are in the Kanya and our Meena Rashi. So they are also, so there is Mula Trikona Rashi is also there. Okay, so all the Rashis, they have a Mula Trikona sign also. What is the bifurcated, but there is, that is also very auspicious sign. So Rahu, Ketu, they are also very auspicious. Mangal is in the Makara Rashi, so it is exalted. Surya is in the first house, first Rashi, so it is again exalted. And the Shukra, it is in the 12th sign, that is also exalted. So Guru, Shani, Mangal, Shukra, and then Surya. Five planets are exalted out of the nine planets. And Rahu and Ketu are also in the best position. The sixth house, Rahu is very good. One can fight his enemies. From this, we can now draw conclusions. So, Guru and uh, Guru Chandra, they form the Gajakeshwari yoga, represents pain. So we all know an everlasting fame. We all know about the fame of Ramachandra. Um, Guru in Lagna represents very, very intelligent, great person, which is there in his chart. 10th house Sun is a full test political career. So he was the king for the entire Bhumandala. 7th house Mangala, it represents the 7th house. That is some problem. I mean, because it is exalted, marriage is, there is no problem in marriage. But then there are obstacles in the marriage life and after marriage life. Again, Shani is there in the 4th house, therefore he had to be separated from his mother. That is thing. Okay, and one way or the other, there was Kashta. There so many misery in Bhavan Ramachandra's chart. So because of the Shani which is there. 6th house has Rahu, so he would fight back his uh, enemies. 12th house is Ketu, so therefore always engaged in spiritual activities. Also, Mangal, it represents the deities also are represented by different planets. So Surya represents Lord Shiva, Chandra represents we'll see it when we talk about it. So Mangal represents the male deities which are there. If it is there in the odd sign. So first sign like the 1, 3, 5, 7, 10, they are the odd signs, and the other signs are the even signs. So Mangal is in the odd sign, then they are it represents a male deity. And if he is in the odd even sign, then it represents female deity. So male sign that Mangal represents Narsimdev, Hanuman, and in the female version it represents Durga or Tar Bhairav, like that. So if you see in the 7th house, Seventh house is the house of partnership, and Mangal represents Hanuman. That's why he got the partnership, like the help of Lord Hanuman in his uh, venture to Lanka when he was to kill. So like that, a chart is being interpreted. So are there any doubts? Otherwise, we will proceed further.
Hare Krishna.
Just a second, I will put on the earphone. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I was asking, just like you showed the charts of North India, East India.
Hare,
So what
Hare
about
Krishna.
Western astrology?
Just a second. Maharaj has joined the class. Hare
Okay, sure,
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Mhm.
Hare Krishna.
So very happy to see all of you here. And you're discussing something very interesting. So today, what is the topic?
Today, Jyotish is being discussed and conclusion will be discussed.
Yes. Jyotish. So you have done so many wonderful topics. That is Goloka and the Avaranas, cosmology, then coming down Ayodhya and Vaikuntha. Discussion about, interestingly, you had discussion about Aishwarya Goloka. Distinction between Aishwarya Goloka and Raja, and also discussion on 7 layers around Vaikuntha and Brahman, Viraja, and also discussion about the Muktis, discussion about Mahavishnu, um, Shambhu, and Shiva, Rudra, and ultimately Sadashiva, which in the Brahmanda, 14 planetary systems, about Kala, discussed on Manu, Kala Chakra. You discussed about Panchanga also, that is Pakshatiti, etc. Then about Karma, then come Jyotish. So Jyotish, a very interesting subject matter. It is the eye of Veda Purusha. So it's very important that we have some idea of Jyotish. In the Vedangas, Jyotish is one of the important subject matter. Some people think Jyotish means relativity. This is not astrology. It's science. You can do something when you can see. So Jyotish Shastra, through Jyotish Shastra, you can see something which cannot be seen by the ordinary eye. That is why those who are Jyotish Shastra, those who know Jyotish Shastra, they are known as Daivagya. Uh, Daivagya means one who knows, uh, or one who can understand Daivagya means one who can know and tell about those things which which normally ordinary people cannot tell. So that's why Jyotish is a very interesting uh, aspect of our Vedic knowledge. So the engaged Vinity is now discussing the subject matters and they're all recorded. It's not only this course is going to help you to learn something, but also going to inspire many young students who are interested in our Vedic knowledge to develop interest, more interest in going deeper into these subtleties of our science, Vedic science. Srila Prabhupada wanted a revolution around the world. People around the world should come and study and value the scriptures. Though these things may not be seen directly in connection with Krishna, that is Krishna consciousness, but you cannot be Krishna conscious without taking help of these things. These subject matters, cosmology, which is space science, and other one is Jyotish, is time science, space and time, or time and space rather. They are interrelated with each other, and it's most complicated subject matters. That is why it is said that छन्दःपादौ तु वेदस्य हस्तौ कल्पोऽतपत्यते प्यते. Chandopadau tu Vedasya. Chanda is the feet of Veda, Kalpa is the hand of Veda. Jyotisha, Jyotisha Mayam Chakshu. Then this Jyotish is actually Chakshu. Nirukti is the ear. Like that, the six Vedangas are different parts of the body of Veda Purusha, out of which Jyotish is most important because eyes are very important for everyone. If you are given a choice, what do you want? You want tongue or eye? Ear or eye? People generally prefer, oh, I want eyes, I want to see things. In that sense, Jyotish is very important. And when Krishna appeared, at that time, Nanda Maharaj called astrologers, Daivagnyas, and they were very much nicely rewarded. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, Nilambar Chakravarti himself was a great astrologer. I want to speak of anybody else, even Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, who translated Surya Siddhanta, because of which he got the name Siddhanta. Because study of the time energy of Krishna. Krishna is present in the world as time. And the science about Krishna in this world is science of time, time science, Jyotisha. Everybody should be trained in Jyotisha, but only very few people can practice predictive astrology. Not everybody should do that. But everybody should know astrology, how to read the Panchanga, certain things. What is the best time to go out? What is the best season to lay the seeds? There are certain basic things one should know. And in this way, we respect time and Krishna. So, this time and space has always been the subject matter of discussion, even in the modern science, also. Because these are two very enigmatic things. Now, the time is now, say, 8 8:43 p.m. Now this clock is clicking, tuck, 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 tuck. Now tell me, when did it start? It's a question to the modern science. The science has no answer for it. But the Veda clearly tells this clock started by the birth of Brahma, Adya Brahmane Ditya Pararde. It is very natural for anybody who is born in Vedic culture to accept relativity of time. And also related to space. Relativity of time and space shows that there is a conscious observer. Otherwise, relativity has no value. There is no consciousness present. So this time and space has something to do very much to do with quantum mechanics. So there are so many problems in quantum mechanics which can be solved by the Vedic literatures when they describe about time and space. Space is measured by time, and space is the manifestation of time too. So the subtle subject matters were discussed in these 7-8 sessions by Vineet. And I'm very happy that you all attended the sessions without considering the age of the speaker, maturity of the speaker, and without considering, hey, what this small boy is going to teach me. You have transcended all the adjuncts or limitations or the upadhis. I congratulate all of you who attended. Jai, Malhar, Yeshodanand, Maurya, and Aradhya Gadadhar Prabhu. I hope you also take up these studies and you also start doing some seminars like this to be a source of inspiration for millions of youth who are intelligent but focused, therefore have been captivated, allured by the modern science, which is just befooling everyone. So seeing all of you, they'll use their intelligence in digging deeper into these subject matters. And these subject matters should start trending among the youth of the world. So that is one of the subtle objectives behind this. So I congratulate you, especially because whenever anybody wants to attend a course, you'll see who is the speaker. Oh, but you saw the subjects and you got captivated by it. In this way, you all are to be congratulated. All blessings of Lord Krishna unto you. Because you transcended the regular attractions of any course, that is, what is the popularity of the speaker, etc., etc. So that's very important to progress in life, to be jigyasu. Hare Krishna. So I just spoke some points which came to mind. Any questions you would like to ask, you can ask.
We may even ask one question. Maharaj, I myself had one question about when
Yeah,
we
first the student should ask.
don't know if they have any.
I'm in Jharkhand in one gaon. They build a house with mud and still they have to put that gobar and mud on top. Nice. They have what jadi booties, what knowledge one devotee has here about Vedic, about Ayurveda, about different plants and what is used for what, etc. Yeah, question. Yeah.
Anyone has any question, then please ask. Anything related to course, any clarification which is required.
Can I have the divine darshan of all your students?
Turn on the camera.
Jai,
Everyone
where
can
are
turn
you
on.
from? Jai,
He's from Mira only. He's assisting and he's also attending a course on assisting.
Jai, where are you from?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Maharaj, I'm from Mira.
Not able to hear.
Maharaj, I'm from Mira. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yeah, now you're audible. Yes.
Yes, Dhanwar Pranam Maharaj. I'm from Mira.
Yaravnami. Okay.
Yes.
Malhar, where are you from?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I'm also from Mira Road. I'm from Adi Prabhu's group.
Acha, acha, yeah. I can recognize your face. Mataji, I know. Yashoda, Nandan Mataji. Aradhya Gadadhar. Yeah, he's not in touch.
Hare Krishna Maharaji. Even I am from Mira Road, Maharaji.
I know you, Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah, any questions? I think there are no questions. Chalo. Hare
Maharaj,
Krishna.
Maharaj, I had one question.
Yes.
Like as we say that to go deeper into the Leelas, we should meditate on the Leelas of the Lord. So when we want, so we have discussed about the Sarga, how the Lord glances and the creation it takes place. So Maharaj, so maybe now we can switch off our camera because then it consumes a lot of bandwidth. Maharaj, extend Maharaj. Because there is a lot of network issue. Maharaj is actually staying in a village. Extend Maharaj. Join us. So, um, maybe we can continue the discussion. Maharaj joins and I will ask my question. Yeah. So, someone was asking a question before Maharaj had joined. So we can take up a question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. It was me.
Yes.
Prabhuji, I was asking that since you showed like in the notes about Eastern astrology, North Indian astrology. So my question was, we have also got this Western astrology where like we have our Vedic Rashis, then they have them in English, like Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, etc. And but how we decide one's Rashi is by that time when a person is born, at that time what was his birth chart, from that we get the Rashi. But in the Western astrology, it is determined with the date that he was born, like from let's say 6 March to 6 April, and he's something then. So how much of that is true, and how is it that their Rashis are just the name is different, but the figurine is very similar to what is our, like Kanya is Virgo in them, and then also Simha is Vrishabha, sorry, Vrishabha is Taurus. So how is it similar? If you could please shed
First
some
of
light,
all,
Hare Krishna.
the North Indian, South Indian, East Indian, they are not three branches of astrology. That is just the format of representing the chart. That's why if you see the word South Indian format, North Indian format, East Indian format. The same Jyotish which is practiced throughout the throughout the world actually. When the Vedic culture was forming. In Jyotish, um, of course, we didn't talk about history. I thought I will speak it at the end. There are different branches. The rules and everything remains the same. The most famous one is the Parashari, written by uh, Parashar Muni himself. He wrote the book Brihat Parashar Shastra. Parashar Muni is the father of our Vyasdev. And so he wrote a book, and then there were many more astrologers who wrote the commentary and further books. So he is the basis. That is the Parashari system. Then there is one more system that is known as the Jaimini system. Jaimini Muni, student of Vyasdev, propounder of Karma Mimamsa, also the propounder of Yajurveda, to read Bhagavatam and Gita. He wrote the Gemini Sutras, and there is the Gemini system. There is also the Bhrigu Nadi system, which is there. Nadi astrology. So the story goes that Bhrigu Muni, he told Brahma that before you create the beings, before the beings are born, before that I will write their destiny. I will write their chart. Meaning, it is not some great thing. So right today is 23rd November 2025, 8:52. Okay. And now we have the software, or we know because they Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah, I'm back. Network is back. Yeah.
So Maharaj, I had a question.
He had some question.
That for spiritual matters, as we say, when we meditate, we realize the Krishna, Guna, Nam, Leela, and we enter into Leela. So for the material tattva, as we discussed the Sarga, the Lord glances, the Prakriti is set into motion, and all those things which are there. To gain a further intuition about that, is it the same procedure that we have to read about it, meditate on it, and then one day, someday it will be, we will understand that how it actually is. The Sarga part which is there.
So your question is, can we meditate on the Sarga part?
To actually visualize and understand exactly how it happens. Although we speak about it, but that is just we just say it.
Ito vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. The Lord is beyond mind and words. Mind and words go up and come back empty-handed. But still, we have to describe. Still, we have to think. Because it is for our purification. We do that. When you describe something, naturally your mind starts thinking. And your mind starts visualizing. So it is but natural. How can you hear something and not visualize? Though your visualization may not be the way it is exactly what is being described, your description may not be exactly the way it is, but you're just speaking scripture. And you're visualizing what is in scripture. Though it is not very perfect, but that lead you to perfection because there is no other way other than thinking of the Lord, other than speaking what scriptures say. So for the purpose of purification, though God is beyond words, God is beyond thought, imagination, we imagine and we speak. Okay?
Yes, Mark. And so the question was asking that
Got
to know this, if we meditate on this, so is it that we get further intuition into the working of the, not completely, but more and more intuition of how the Sarga must have been.
Yes. Yes, you did. Get it. Okay, my network is not so good. So all blessings to all of you, especially Vineet, for such wonderful seminars. These are recorded for eternity. Hare Krishna.
So by your
Jai.
empowerment and blessings only, this is happening. So I was talking about Brihunadi astrology. So, um, so he told so today, so now the time is 8:58, 23rd November 2025. So, and we know what the planetary motion will be in future because the way we have discussed the Kala Chakra, the planets move in that way only. There is no obstruction or like we can. So this is seventh Manvantara. We can tell what will be uh, the planetary motion even in the 14th Manvantara, any day from the 14th Manvantara. That can also be helpful. So you can cast a chart of a particular time and you can give the predictions. So Bhrigu Muni, he wrote the Nadi astrology. Okay, and that was preserved about 3 to 4 crore horoscopes which he had written, and that was preserved by family generation. Many got destroyed, many are fake also. Okay, nowadays, so they just make their own things and they speak. So if you go to a proper Nadi astrology, okay, through your fingerprint, they go and they trace it out and they say what Bhrigu Muni is. But some are lost, some are not covered. So a genuine astrologer will say that it is Bhrigu Muni has not written anything. So there is a Bhrigu Nadi astrology. There's a KP astrology also, which got famous 100 years back. Krishnamurti, he designed it. It is the same principles which are there, but he kind of modified like, in a better, um, what do you say, modified the wordings and like that. So, and Jaimini astrology also, it is the same principles are there. It's just a way of thinking. And then there are many see, when the Jyotish people, when they practice Jyotish for years and decades, they also develop their own intuition. It's all about the Bhasha. As Maharaj said, everyone can study Jyotish. There's no basic things. To study Jyotish requires your chart should show that. To practice Jyotish, that's also your chart should show. And to do Parihar, but also your chart should show. And the position of Sun is recorded. The Sun gives the mathematical calculation, the Bhasha. So that intuition, when they develop, they also have their own principles. They also speak about their own principles. Like Pandit Sanjay Raj, P.V. Singh Rao. In their books, they have written some principles. So this is the Vedic Jyotish. The Western astrology, which is there, they consider have a sidereal. There's a tropical and sidereal motion of the planet because they don't consider the movement of the planets. Our is sidereal motion. They have a tropical motion, and there is the sun becomes very important in their Western astrology. So, in whichever month when sun enters into one Rashi, that month is known as the by name of that Rashi. Okay? So, in that way, they have this astrology. Some principles, and if you study history, they have stolen everything from us. If you, I'm not branding my course, but if you go and listen to Veda Vriksha course, we had discussed about this. So Veda means knowledge. Any knowledge which you have on this planet, material or spiritual, it is coming from Vedas. So the Vedic culture was there only throughout the world. If you study history, you trace it back, the origin comes from Vedic knowledge. So it is our remnant only. And then when Britishers came and their travelers, they used to come, they used to steal some knowledge, and that's how they have developed. So it is our remnant, our stealing from something from here. Of course, they must have also developed some intuition. There is no denial of that fact. In that way, they have Uranus and Neptune also in their astrology, and they give predictions. The planetary motions, like if you tell them that now time at this time, what is the planetary movement, that is different from our Vedic movements. But still, some things because Lagna changes it every 2 hours. So Lagna and other position they remain same. Things it is moderate prediction is there. Okay, but the derivation of that, how they got this knowledge is from our Vedic scriptures, and they cannot connect it. As I said, our Jyotish, the kundlis which we have, the chakras which we have, all the chakra, there's an Adhishtan Graha, which is there. All the Hasta astrology also, we didn't cover this, but in Samhita, there is many parts of it. So Nimitta Shastra is also one Shastra. So I'm digressing from your question because this. So Nimitta Shastra is also part of Jyotish. The Hasta Lakshana, so your entire life, your entire uh, thing is there on your hands. Now this is not different from your Jyotish. What is there in your chart is there on this hand also. This also can be analyzed. The different, like in between Ketu planet is there. This is, I think so it is Guru. I mean, I don't remember, I don't want to speculate. And you can analyze it. And ideally, it comes the same thing which is spoken in Jyotish. It's the same thing. It is the creation. Creation is such that, whatever rekhas are there, you but the rekhas, they change also with age. They change, but they change according to the karma which is there, not something out of the blue you have. In devotee's case, it is said that when the devotee claps his hand, kirtan, his life rekhas change. But we have already discussed about what happens in a devotee's case. So, Nimitta Shastra, Hasta Shastra, the Hasta Lakshana, the face, all of them, that is also part of Jyotish. So, the Western astrology, they have taken principles from our there only. They have gone their own way. They have this tarot card and many things which comes out from the Jewish occult science. Actually, the grace is, if you see, before Christianity, they were Jewish. Okay, and from there, Kabbalah. I mean, I don't know if you all know this history, but they have their own occult science and which they follow their practices also. It is there, but it is all from our picture. Does that answer your question? Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Yes, Prabhu, yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So, any other question? Anything related to Jyotish? Actually, I had put the message. If someone had any doubt, they could have asked me that. So, any doubt if it is there, please let me know.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, sir.
Prabhuji, as you said that a person, whether he can learn Jyotish or not, that also is determined by looking into his chart. But just now Maharaj said that anybody can learn Jyotish. So how can we understand this statement? It seems contradictory.
Oh, if you listen carefully, Maharaj said that everyone should learn basic Jyotish. They should know how to see Panchang. They should know what is a good time to travel, stuff like that. Learning Jyotish. Very good example. Learning to use MS Excel, MS Office doesn't mean learning programming computer science. You know how to use computer, you to learn how to code computer in the different.
Yes, Prabhu, yes.
So basic Jyotish, everyone learn in a sense they should have a knowledge. But to learn Jyotish, it's a, when we are talking about learning Jyotish, it's a 12-year process which is there. All the types, it's such a detailed thing which is. So it is not that just outcasting people, you're not capable of that, but that because the intuition has to be there. Okay, otherwise these all texts which are there, all the rules which are there. You feed all the rules to AI model, it will also predict, yeah, to some extent it will predict based on the rules. But that Uha Shakti, the anticipation which is there, so many rules are there. Okay, every so just Bhagavan Ram said in Jyotish, there are so many rules. So it is very difficult to know, and it is never that everything is good, everything is bad. Now, although Shani is there in fourth, he is exalted, but and it means a disciplined mind. But Shani is there in fourth house. Fourth house is of happiness. Shani means distress. You can say Shani in fourth house. No, there is no happiness in this person's life. Least happiness will be there. And so it takes maturity. It takes many principles to see the amshas and many more things are there. So the vastness is such, and to apply that principle, where to apply what, Vaha Shakti, it requires qualification. And to have that is, um, qualification has to be there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Any other question from anyone else? Or if you have any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Uh, like at the time of birth, when these charts are made, this all calculation are there, and then sometimes they observe that there is that mool, bolte mool आया है करके, then they do all different things and they say now this is proper. So I want to understand this concept of this. Any matlab, doing something, is it how is that really affecting the things?
Yeah, moles, because in some they consider it to be a good thing, and then they prescribe the some rituals, and after that the evil effect that is being passed away. So, as it said, it is Kala dosha which is there. It is not that it is inside of the will. Okay, for a person to be born on Amavasya is also an inauspicious part. So, if because it's a Kala dosha, which is okay. Of course, there is a kundli when your birth is when you are going to be born is fixed, and so those things which are there going to be remain. But the impurity of the kala which is there, and that can be removed with the rituals. So, but it doesn't mean once that is done, then everything is perfect. Or if that is not done, then the entire life is good. Some impurities which are there, you can just remove. Okay. So there are many things. What has happened now in India, because it was being studied in a parampara system, and it was a very well proper encrypted, very well structured way. But then the Britishers they came, we had the invasion, and our line of knowledge was destroyed. Okay, and lot was lost, many was lost, uh, many things become distorted. Then again, in the 19th, 20th century, the Western scholars they also had some interest to study. They did their own study, and our modern scholars. So because the line was destroyed, so that parampara, the way of studying that was not followed. But they used to interpret on their own. So many misconceptions they were also being created. So now what we have is actually a hodgepodge. Some things are nonsensical. They are not part of the traditional Jyotish. Some things they were part of it, but they got twisted. So many rituals they are actually redundant. Now which ones are not? Now it is a big thing on that is there. And also, it is true that not the same line, the same ritual was followed across the length and breadth of Bharat. Because no Vedic culture was there in Bharat. But then there is, there is community, there is school. So every place they have that variation. Okay, there's a variation in food, there is variation in language, they have their own procedure. That is also there. They have their own understanding of something being evil, something of being benefit. That is also there. So the family traditions, the Vedic principles, the interpretations, it has become a hodgepodge. So,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
any other question? On Amavasya, when someone is born, then they have to be done. Because it's an inauspicious thing. Amavasya is not a good. But it's a kaltush. If you do the ritual, it gets removed. Kalsardosh is also there. So now what is Kalsardosh? Between Rahu, Ketu and all the planets are there. So Rahu, Ketu, so the life is binded. Okay? It is like a circle. So when you do the Nivaran, when you go, ideally it has to be, one has to go to Trambakeshwar, do the Nivaran, then that Kundli is kind of opened. And then the true thing which is there, it manifests. So again, it's a Kalbush. All the planets, they were between Rahu Ketu. You've seen Bhagavan Ramachandra's chart. So there are planets on the right. So Rahu Ketu, if we make an axis, there's some planets on this side, some planets on that side. So like that, it is there. So now in our discussion of Jyotish, we will have to rush a little bit. The so the rashis which are there, they are in 30 degrees, and then you can actually further divide each and every house into many divisions. Each and every house which is there, if you divide it into two parts, then this is our um, what is the name of the chart? Hora name Rashi. This is Rashi chart which is there. When you divide each Rashi into two, and then you see the planetary motion, that is known as D2 Hora Rashi. Okay, D3 is Drekhana. So D2, D3, D4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, then 16, then 20, 24, 27, 30, 40, 45, 60. So each the number dividing that many times the house, and they each of the charts, they represent a different subject matter. For example, D2 represents wealth matter. D3 represents courage, your health also in one sense, and also your siblings. D4 represents your immovable property. D5 represents your power, position, the signification of the fifth house. D6 represents the roga and health issue. So health issue is there. You see, you check the D1 and also the D6 which is there. Okay? If you see, open an app, you can see the 20 vargas which are there. D7 represents all about children. So Rashi Chakra, it represents the blueprint of the chart, entire chart. To know more the details of it, you see the Varga which are. Then D8 is about the death, inheritance. D9 is the Navamsha chart, a very important chart. It is seen in the marriage. It also represents your Bhagya. So any chart, it is not seen independently. It is seen with respect to the D1 Rashi chart and also D9 because that is your Bhagya. If Bhagya is there, then things are not that bad as it may seem in the particular Varga. Then D10 is all about your career. D11 is about Rudrams, your gains, and also your death in one sense. D12 is about your parents, grandparents, your lineage. D16 is about your happiness. Now, this is also related. D16, 16 colors which are there. 16 tithis which we have. Okay, and tithi is related to moon. So, and we will see in Panchang now. Okay, many things which we have to see. And tithi is the mood. So that's why D16 is the job. D20 is your spirituality, D24 is your learning abilities, D27 is your weakness, your body. So you see the D27 chart and you can find, sometimes we have one, like one eye is weak, or one knee is very weak. So that can be seen from D27. D30, D9 is Bhagya, D30 is all the bad thing which is there. All evil punishment, all the bad karma which you are going to suffer, you can see it from D30. D40 is your maternal lineage. D45 is your paternal lineage. Mostly it is seen in the king's chart because the royal lineage which they have, that can be seen. Okay. Also D40 represents all the auspicious events, and D45 is the events. Then D60 is all your past karma. So one has to see the past karma, Rashi Chakra's 12th house, in a way D9 and also D60, which is to be seen. Health is to be seen then D1, D3, D9, D6, and D12 in its entirety. That's why I said it's a very, very great science. It's not a joke. Now we have softwares. But previously, as soon as a person is born, 16 charts. So of this, all the charts which I mentioned, the D6, the D5, D6, D8, and D11, they were added by Gemini. Others are given in the Parashar system. Okay, so these charts are casted, the degrees in each planet, and there's a way of interpretation. For example, Sixth house represents um, um, not let us not take sixth house. It will be difficult for you to understand. 11th house represents gains. So D12 represents parents. So the 11th house in D12 will represent gains from parents. 8th house represents inheritance. So 8th house in D12 will represent inheritance from your parents. Happiness. 10th house represents career. So happiness from career will be seen from the 10th house in D16. Okay. Wealth. Wealth from your third house represents the courage. So what initiative you will take to get the karma, to get wealth. So in this way, there are so many dimensions which are there. Now I mean, I hope you have got a glimpse of the complexity. The Varga, the Graha, and the Graha, their Shadbala is also calculated. The strength of the planet. See, now we say, yeah, sun will good reason, but how good? Okay. Goodness or badness, that it has a limit. So that is seen by the strength of the planet. Okay. So there are 6 amshas which are there. Okay. In which house, in which Rashi, and many. It's a very detailed calculation. That is again part of Ganita. That is done. Okay. And then the number is assigned that this much powerful is Shani. This much weak is the planet. So that Shadbala is done. There is also the concept of Ashtak Varga. So now when we cast the chart, it is with respect to Lagna. But Lagna is only not the point of reference. There can be other Lagnas which are there. There is the Gati Lagna. So if one has to see it from the power, you cast the chart from power. So now second house represents resources. If you take Gati Lagna, in the second house from the Gati Lagna represents the resources which you have for power. You see, sixth house represents obstacles. So sixth house from the Gati Lagna will represent the obstacles which you will have in while gaining power. So like that, it's a very dynamic, complicated chart which comes. Hora Lagna is also there. There are many Lagnas which are Hindu Lagna, Hora Lagna. Hora is Lagna for wealth. Also, you have moon, taking moon as a reference, and you have it. So from your mind perspective, you will understand. Then you can also take each of the planets as a reference. When you take sun as a reference, then you have a particular view of the chart. The dasha which is going, the Mahadasha, that can also be taken as a reference point and then you can analyze. So the reference point is also generally taken in Lagna, but there are many references. As soon as you make something as a Lagna, as a reference point, that becomes the first house, then the second house, third house, fourth house, fifth house. The houses, they have a property. Then according to that referent, you can have the properties. Okay? You see what I'm trying to say? And then you can see the planetary influence which is there, and in which nakshatra which is there. Then nakshatra also, they have many properties. All the nakshatra, there's a ruling planet for it. Like Kritika nakshatra is ruled by moon. Okay? No, that is ruled by sun. Ashwini nakshatra is ruled by Ketu. All the 27 nakshatra, they have their devta also. Like for Ketu, for Ashwini, it is the Ashwini Kumaras which is there. So, this is not a general rule. Many more things are concerned. But those who are on Ashwini nakshatra, they can be very good healers. Now, Kritika, the ruler is Agni Dev. And it is a devta, it is a Brahman nakshatra. So they can be very good in chanting verses. And any mantra recitation is to be commenced. It should be coming from a day when moon is in Kritika nakshatra. So like that, there are many rules which are there. Okay, and with this, you actually develop your intuition, your upashakti, that gets developed. Now our nakshatra, the 5 panchangas which we cannot cover properly. So Vara represents the energy of vitality. So when one's health is seen, the day when he's born, that is also seen. Okay, and that day is Lord, because day is Lord in the sense, now today is Ravivar. Who is the Lord of the day? Shanivar, Shani, Guru. Because that the Var represents the energy, the vitality, the health, the longevity. The Karanas, they are 11 and 4 are fixed, 11 are in motion. So they represent the 11 which are movable, they repeat themselves 8 times from the second of the first tithi. So the second half of the first tithi, you will have the Karana, and then they keep on repeating. The other 4 Karanas, they appear from the second half of the 29th tithi to the first half of the first tithi. Now, what does Karana represents? Karana represents the material success. Okay, it is all about Artha, which is there. And Tithi there represents prosperity and relationship. So the social function for that Tithi is same. Generally for marriage and all other samskaras which we see Tithi. Okay. Then nakshatras which are there. It is the fructification of the task and also the mental strength. So if a task is to be undertaken, so how the task will the fruit of the task, the nakshatra is seen. And yoga is for the general fortune and it connects everything. So these panchangas are there, their elements are also there, and a Karaka planet. The Vara is fiery planet. That's why it's about the courage, the vitality, and the Karak is Mangal. So now you can correlate. Mangal is what about? It's all about courage, valor, okay, passion which is there, and also health. That's why Mangal represents health. Now Karanas. Karanas is represented by Earth. It's all about material success. So when you buy a property, you don't want you want it to be remain with you, to be always there. So the Karana is very important. And the element is Earth, because Earth is constant. And the Karaka is Mercury, because Mercury represents the materials, trade and communication, and all the material things. So that is why the Karaka is Mercury. Then you have the Tithis. The Karaka is water. The element is water. The Karaka planet is water, Venus, Shukra. So therefore, watery nature. So it is the social element, and over there are material the societal considerations which are there. Shukra becomes very important, and it is like a water. If you study the property of water, water tattva, then you understand. Nakshatra is air and Shani. Thereby, it is the karma, the fruit of task which is there. And then yoga is the ether. So in ether we have all the other 4 planets, other 4 elements. So yoga is what binds everything. So 27 yogas are there, and Guru is there. So Guru becomes very important. Guru's position. By that, everything and all the certification and everything. So if you have to pick a murut, everything has to be considered. Now, as I said, to pick up property, if you want it to rent it, then you want to have a tenant, then a different Karana will be selected. Okay. So like that, you have the 5 Panchanga which are there, and there are many mathematical points. There are Upagrahas, Manduka, Gulika, which are also there. Their position also calculated. They generally not good planets. We have discussed about the trine. So any house, if you take, and if you take the 5th and the ninth house, they give strength to that house. That's why for the Lagna we see the 5th house and the ninth house. The planets of they give strength to it. 6, 8, 12, they get obstacles. So 1, 5, 9 is the Trikona, trines. The 1, 4, 7, 10, the quadrant, if you see, you can also refer simultaneously to Bhavan Ramachandra. They are the quadrants. That is Vishnu Shakti. What do you have? By own effort you can attain it. And trines are Lakshmi's blessings, which is already there with you. Then 3, 6, 10, 11, they are Upachas, gains. Now, how so? 3 is courage, initiative. When you do initiative, you gain something. 6 is about, it also represents service. When you do some action, when you do service, occupation, then you get the result. 10th is your career, you get results of that. And 11th is your gains. That is why it is known as Upachas. And then there are Karaka Tattvas, Karakas which are there. Naisargic Karakas which we had discussed, sun represents these things, moon represents these things. Then in each and every chart, depending on the degree which a planet occupies. So because planet is in a particular Rashi and the degree which is there. So the one with the highest degree, it is known as Atma Karaka. Okay. So the activity is related to the self. So it is received from the Atma Karaka planet. So Amatya Karaka is there. So career, the Amitya plan becomes a very good important point, a reference point for studying the Amitya. When we are so like that, it is there for all the planets which are there. Then there are aspects. Planets have an aspect. The yoga is there. Ashtamvarga, I think so. We have already discussed. Then there are transits. So once you are born, you take a snapshot. But planets are in constant motion also, na? So the current gochar transit, the Sanskrit word for transit is gochar. That is also considered. So that the effect of the transit on the current chart is also seen. So when you are going through a very bad transit, through Shni, Ketu, all of them they have influence on your moon, becomes your mind becomes very bewildered. So then it is said when you do these things. So at the time of marriage or any activity or any inauspicious activity, I mean, the inauspicious like to when to wage a war, then also the everything is sensitive. And the rules are different. Like Chaturdashi, Amavasya, it's not a good day to be born, Amavasya. But for some tasks, it's a very good day. To do some black magic, it's the best day. One can have it. So, what is good, what is bad is relative. Okay. When we have the verse from CC, but in Jyotish also we have it. So, that is why it's a very dynamic kind of thing which is there. Um, Then there is a system of Tajaka also when we have discussed and see what has now happened is now generally astrologers they study the Parashari, Jaimini, and Bhrigunadi principles also now a mixture of that they study. Like this Atma Karak, Amatya Karak which I've talked about. This is mentioned by Jaimini Muni in his um, uh, in his book. But astrologers they study this and they study everything and they have a mixture. We also have a concept of Aruru. That's it's so interesting when you analyze the chart and you see that he is a very mild person. But for the world, he may be a very hard-hearted person. So there is a concept of Aruda Lagna. Aruda Lagna is not your true self, it is what the world perceives about you. So the Aruda Lagna is with Mangal. He is a very strict personality. The world will see him as a very strict personality. But his family members and close associates, they will know he's a very mild. Because the Lagna is Karka Rashi. This is a very mild, emotional person. So many things are there. From Aruda, you see, in chart of a politician, Aruda Lagna becomes very important. If Aruda Lagna is very proper, then you can predict. Okay, 11th from the Aruda. So 11th is all about gains. In career, if you're seeing that there is from the 11th house of Aruda Lagna, you see there is some gains in the career aspect, then you can say that there is a promotion which is going to happen. Because if people are saying that he is getting promoted, or I mean, it is actually it is going to happen. So like this, so many principles which are there, which the Jyotishi, which is being used, and with maturity, okay, it's not that everything you grab all together. Gradually, you increase your knowledge base, and you also develop the breadth, which is there, the length and the breadth, everything. So the breadth and the depth, everything gets. I mean, simultaneously it is being developed. Okay, many things are there. Okay, I mean, I'm telling you, I've seen Darshana Shastra, Agamas, Kavya, Sanskrit, Ayurved, Dhanurved, our Shilpa Shastra, and it is nothing as Jyotish. And it, gets connected to all other things. It is very well gets connected to yoga. In Shilpa Shastra also tremendous amount of Jyotish is used. Vastu, which is also, it is when you have Jyotish into Shilpa Shastra, it is Vastu. Okay. So because all the directions which are there, they also have their own properties. Okay? Like that we say. I think so we have covered. Have we covered the Vastu? We had covered it when we had covered the Golokar part. Because I remember talking about having kitchen in the South Asian direction because that is the direction of family. So Vastu intuition, something I've spoken about, right? Can someone just uh, clear clarify that? I think so. We have covered it. So that is how Vastu is also there. Okay? Each and every direction, it has a certain energy. There's a devta for it. That is, I think so. We have done this. But so now the topic has come, so I will again speak about it. So, and you know, I mean, it is not related, but so and there are some people who do it. Businessmen, they have it. And there is Vastu for house, there is Vastu for office. And Vastu is not complete in itself, but there are many things which are there. I mean, now northwestern direction, if you see, it is represented by moon. What remains there goes. So there is the principle of that when someone is not getting married. It is said that in the northwestern direction they should have their room, because then the marriage will happen. But those who are married, they should not have their room over there. Politicians, because the south direction is about politics, and east direction. So over there they have this. So like that, there are many principles are there. Pachaka system. There is one Pachaka system also which got developed in Tajikistan. That is about, so you have an annual chart also. So every year when the sun returns back to its to the position when it was there at your birth, a chart is casted out. And so Jyotish, the chart is about the entire lifetime. But Pachaka chart is about the particular year which is there, okay, when that is being analyzed. And then there is also Tithi Pravesh which is there. So the Tithi in which you were there, when you were born, on that day where the Tithi was there. So when that same Tithi comes, okay, basically Tithi, what is Tithi? Sun, moon being when they're in conjunction. So when sun, moon, they return back to the position when they were in when you were born. Tithi Pravesh chart is casted out. That is for 1 year. But if it is there, you will get a child. Suppose if it is there in the annual chart, if you see it. But if you in your Rashi chart, if it is there that no child is going to be born, so then that gets overruled. So the annual charts, they have to be interpreted with respect to the Rashi chart. Also, the spelling charts are also being made. Okay, like for example, the India's chart which we have. It was started when India was given independence at the midnight, okay, 12 o'clock at 15th August 1947 at Red Fort. And then the chart is casted. And when a prime minister comes in, okay, like for our Pradhan Mantri Shri Narendra Modi ji, so people, when he takes the shapath, so then the 5 year cast, the chart is casted, and it is being done. Like what will happen? I mean, it makes sense also. I mean, I can tell you, if you see I had seen the chart when many people have analyzed them. So this terms, the third terms chart. So Ketu was in the Aruda Lagna, in the 11th house. It means many secretive activities will be done. And Mangala was in the 6th house. So when you analyze it from the Samhita part, what it means, so Samhita, in the Mangal, it means no enemies will be spared. And Ketu in 11th house will means many secretive things will be done. So those who you follow the current trends, current affairs, you see this thing happening. Okay, so like that, it is being studied. Now for Parihar also, okay, and to talk about what happens in a general chart, it means the first house shows the general state affairs of a nation. Second house shows about the revenue, wealth, import, export of a chart. Third house shows about the telecommunication and transportation, journalism in a country. Fourth house is about the educational institutes, students, the real estate, the general feeling of well-being, trade and agriculture also. Fifth house is about the population, the child, children, crime, mentality of the leader. Sixth house is about state, loan, debt, diseases, armed forces, wars. Seventh house is about the health of women, immortality rate, wars also. Actually, war is more related to the seventh. Okay, enemies are shown by the sixth house, and relationship with the other house. So seventh house becomes very important when you're talking about the foreign diplomacy. Eighth house, it shows about the death rate, treasury, unexpected troubles. So we know eighth house shows about the calamities. So in terms of a nation, it will talk about the natural calamity. Okay, some tragedy which will happen. Ninth house shows about the righteousness, the judiciary, the Nyaya system, temple. 10th house shows the ruler, the politician, parliament. Okay. And 11th house shows the gain from the other nations. 12th house shows the secret enemies, some plots, something which is going against the planet. So like that, it works for the our in a nation chart. There is also Shiva Swarodaya Shastra, analyzing the swaras which we have. Swara means the inhaling and exhaling which we do. Based on that, also, there are the it's a very, of course, it's a very mature stage. It is not beyond the scope of current discussion. We will cover it in some future course when we talk about the metaphysics of this world. So, with remedy also, so now what happens is every planet they have associated gem shown also with them. Okay, and to strengthen that planet, that particular gem is being prescribed. For example, for sun it is ruby, for moon it is white pearl, for Mangal it is red coral, for Buddha it is emerald, for Guru Jupiter it is yellow sapphire, for Shukra it is diamond, for Shani it is blue sapphire, for Rahu it is the gomed, and for Ketu it is the cat's. So gemstone, this is also a big thing which what gets discussed, and then in which finger it is to be worn, that is being also discussed. All the planets, they like Mercury has a little finger, Sun has this finger, Sun has this finger. So the middle finger is for Shukra and Shani also. But for protection, the ring finger is being this one. Okay, and in the right hand. But if you want to decrease the malefic strength of a planet, then it is to be worn in the left. So like that, there are many things which are there. But if you want to gain protection from the planet, you have to wear in the ring finger of the right finger hand. So like that, there are many things which are there. Okay, Parihar also is of three forms: Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. Sattva is about mantra. You recite mantra, you do upasana for the particular deity. Rajas is about doing yajna and all the rituals. Tamas is the black magic which is there. And that's an important point. Also, with each and every planet, one form of the Vishnu form is associated. So it is not required to worship the Devta only, but you can also worship the planet, the Vishnu form. With sun, it is Lord Ramchandra. Now I know Suryavamshi, Lord Ramchandra. For moon, it is Krishna, Chandravamshi. Mangal, it is Narsimhadev. For Buddha, it is Lord Buddha. For Guru, it is Lord Vamandev. For Shukra, it is Parshuram. For Rahu, it is Varahadev. And for Ketu, it is Matsyadev. So they can be worshipped. Okay. So like that, for of course with Rahu, Durga is also associated. Okay. So there are options in, it is not that you have to do demigod worship. For Ketu, Ganesha worship is prescribed. For Shani, Vishnu or Brahma is worship, or Vishnu is worship. And so like that, there are demigods associated with all the 9 planets. So there is one more thing which I have to cover, which I could not cover. The description of when what happens in the layers of the universe. We find it in Real Bhagavatamrita 2.3113 onwards. It is said, so when Gopakumar from when he went beyond the Brahmaloka, when he was there in the Brahmaloka, and then he descends forward towards the Shivaloka and the other planetary systems. Therein, he goes through the planetary the layers of the planet, the universe. Over there, it is mentioned that how first layer which he encounters is the earth layer, which is there. So Bhumi Devi over there, she is worshipping Varahadev. And then, uh, now this is beyond universe. Very, very subtle layers are there. All opulences of the universe was there. And the everything over there was earth element prominent because the earth was there. But this earth was subtle. As we have discussed, in this universe, we have the gross earth, which we have, it is half earth and one eighth of all other four elements. But in the subtle ones are, they are just the uh, subtle earth which is there. So she requests Gopakumar to stay for some time. She offers all the different enjoyable objects which are there, all beyond the universe. This is something beyond the universe. So you can actually go read through that 2.3.13 to roughly till 30th verse. So very amazing, it is just to be something to be visualized. When he entered the Vara, so all the exotic items, and she was worshipping Vara Dev, all the exotic items, very, very subtle items which are there, all the sense enjoyment objects which are there, are very subtle in nature. Okay? And in subsequent verses, in earth, Bhumi Devi was worshipping, Matsya, Vara Dev was worshipped. In water, Matsya Dev, or water layer. In fire, the layer, Surya Dev was worshipped. In air layer, the Pradyumna, ether, Aniruddha, ego, the Sankarshan, and Mahatattva Vasudeva. So then he's going through there, and again they are present with more subtle objects of enjoyment uh, that is mentioned. One more thing which we have is from our uh, Chaitanya Charitamrita, 2.21.4 verse, an indication of the length of Vaikuntha is given. If you read the verse, and those of you know scientific denotation, if we talk in 10 to the power and that way. So it is uh, uh, yojanas, 10 to the power yojanas which are there. Okay? Like 1 sextillion yojanas. It means, so I mean, I don't know how many denotations, but 10 to the power 9 is billion, 10 to the power 12 is trillion, 10 to the power 15 is quadrillion, 10 to the power 18 is quintillion, 10 to the power 21 is sextillion. And 1 sextillion in terms of trillion, because you all must have heard trillion dollars, trillion dollar economy, like that. So 1 sextillion is 1 billion trillions. So if you have 1 billion units of trillion, that will be 1 sextillion in terms of our, Indian version. So 1 trillion is 1 lakh crore. So it is 1 billion lakh crore, or you can say 100 crore lakh crore yojanas multiplied by 30. So 1,300 crore lakh crore yojanas is the length of one Vaikuntha planet. That is 13 into 10 to the power kilometer yojanas is the length of one Vaikuntha. I mean, I thought that I will just speak about this. And any doubt up until now on Jyotish? Because we have discussed more thing on Jyotish. Any doubt? I know it has extended a lot, but that's fine. What can you do? There are so many topics to cover. Any doubt? Then please tell me. No doubts? Okay. So then we will continue further. So that is the length of one way. It's just beyond imagination. And so now we are actually concluding the course. What Marat spoke about. We should actually create a revolution. We should discuss about these things, very much related to quantum physics and modern science fiction. And this is just, there are many details which were also skipped, but those things are also there, which can be studied. And the sorry, there was also the story of Gopakumaran, which I have told that we will cover, but we just don't have the time. You can read, it's better, we will also thereby read Brihad Bhagavatamrita also. Okay, and you can also read Dhamma Purana, wherein we find the story. And but to give you a conclusion, it is something not related exactly to the course, but you need to understand something. We used to have one subject, social science. That was history, geography, political science, and economics. Because I also have a very keen interest in history, geopolitics, economics, in social science. So it was a very boring subject in our school days. Everyone find it very boring. So it is the way we are studied. We are made to study. But actually, if you see, it is a very interesting subject. Ultimately, see, it's all about geography. I mean, I'm talking about current affairs. It's all about geography, which is there. Because Ukraine has many resources. And Russia also. That was a plan of the North continent, that is America, to acquire some of the other Russia, because there are many resources of that. Then they have this NATO and all this Russia war is there, because of course, they failed in that. But the main is there is the main heartland theory which is there. The only aim is to acquire the resources. Okay, so it is always about geography, because geography has the resources. Okay, and because of that we have the cash flow, economics. With that we have the policies which are made. Okay, politics, everything, geopolitics is then. And when this is done over a period of time, then we have the history. So it is not history which is important, it is the cash flow which is there. Right now, if you see the circular investment which is there, so OpenAI invests in NVIDIA, NVIDIA invests back into OpenAI, okay, and stuff like that, and it is all just manipulation of economics. So it is not the politics or the history which is there. See, history is just when you do politics, which is based on economics, which in turn is based on geography, for a period of time, that is history. It is the cash flow which is there. If you trace the cash flow, you can have it. Okay. So behind every event, like the beginning of the war, so the cash flow was there. And you need to understand that ultimately it is all about dharma and adharma fight. There are people who just want to rule over the entire planet. Some people are there. They have made a whole ecosystem of media, house, and other all the resources which they have. People call them by the name of deep state or religion. They just want to rule the world. That is their purpose. And for that, they have this, all sort of nonsense which they do. Okay, if you see so many, this movement of feminism, the movement of cultural rights, freedom, and liberalism, it was not, if you see the history, that a genuine need was felt by the people. It is the creative movement which was. The thing is, they artificially create, because with this broke our Vedic family culture, which is the backbone of Vedic culture. Like in British, how did they destroy the Vedic culture? They broke the Gurukul system, took away all the land, just made the Brahmin culture redundant, and then thereby they have their own systems. So the ultimate aim is they just want to enjoy the world. Some people are there, and likewise they form their policies. Previously, as Prabhupada also mentioned about this in this purpose, the currency was backed by gold, so it was barter system which was there, and the currency backed by gold. So how much gold you have, only that much you can print. Okay, but then in 1970 that was removed and fiat currency was born, dollar. So in a way, US could print any amount of dollar which they want. You say what is the problem? See the problem. In 1970, then oil was discovered uh, in the Gulf, but they didn't have the resources. So America, they proposed to, and this is all well recorded. It is not some conspiracy theory or I'm making. You can go and research about it. They told Saudi Arabia, Gulf region, that we will give you the machinery to extract it. We will look after the protection, but you make sure that because people are going to purchase oil from you, that is the backbone of the economy. You do purchase in dollar only. By that, uh, the demand for dollar will be there, and we will give you protection. Because this is what happened was all the other countries, their currency became secondary, and everyone's purpose was to earn dollars. And they had the World Trade Center, the World Trade Organization, the Health Organization. So everywhere the global trade was done in dollar. So dollar was there. So if I want to trade with, if a country A is to trade with country B, they have to earn dollars and only then they can do this. Now the problem what happens is, so for America to purchase anything, they just have to print dollars. For us to earn $100, they just print $100. We have to make a physical do some production and then we earn. Okay, you see what is happening, and entire manufacturing was shifted to Asia, specifically to China. That's why people talk about pollution, how the Western world is so green, so clean, because they shifted that. It's all crafted thing. All the manufacturing, everything is done in America and in China and Asian countries. And so we manufacture something, then we get dollars. They just purchase from us the good final resources. They do the research because now they have the dollar for free. At 1 to 2% of interest, dollar was given. So who will not do innovation? All these tech companies, Google, Microsoft, they came because at 1 to 2% of interest, loan interest, they were giving the interest. Literally free money. But in India, we didn't have the reserve currency. 7 to 8% was there. So there was a huge risk of doing some kind of innovation. So that's why they used to do innovation. They used to have the product to manufacture that. They would export it to, they would outsource it to Asian countries. And that's why all the pollution is over here. We should very carefully study that why there is pollution in Asia only, factories. Why there are no factories in Western world? This is the reason. This is the cunning part. And on top of that, they would release reports. Carbon footprint. We have so much. They will have to pay. They are polluting the environment. So you cause the problem and then you criticize the problem. See how it works. First, to artificially create some problem is there. Create a revolution, a revolt, and then thereby create a mass chaos. Then you artificially bring about the solution. Okay, you normalize the situation. You have your own puppet person who is there. And then you normalize and you have this. Now, because they want to, so and they gave all the lectures of, because feminism, all of this was propounded to break the family culture. Because previously only men would go to work, the basis of feminism. But so 50% work was population was really charged. Other 50% was in the house, grooming the next generation. So to have them in the factory, they had the factories in the Western world initially, and they shifted over here. They want their laborers. So to have laborers, they had this woman empowerment, and they got the women out of the house. Okay, of course, this is a subject matter of a different course. By that, they would tax them, the labor which is there. So, labor, because for them, they want the labor force which is there. So, this is how it got started. And this broke the family culture. The corporate culture also, it's breaking the family culture, which is the root of our Sanatana Dharma. The point I'm saying is, okay, and countless many analysis is done. And for us, we devotees, we have to know that okay, we first have to have proper Vedic knowledge. Okay? The Gaudiya Siddhant, the Darshan, not everyone, but few of them who are interested. Gaudiya Siddhant, Darshanas, Jyotish, Vyakaran, Sanskrit, Agamas, Tantras. So have a holistic understanding and also to know the history of it. Generally, what we talk about is based on our newspaper, news which we read, or some people which we read. But the history is very different. So, and then thereby, have our own ecosystems. We create our own institution, our Gurukul. We teach the next generation. From there, our people are there. They come to the institution, and then we have our own, practically our people ruling the planet, as Prabhupada used to say. Brahman culture and Kshatriya rule. That is there. So, Brahman culture is Vedic knowledge, studying Vedic knowledge, and Kshatriya rule is our, to have the uh, the rule being ruled by a proper Kshatriya. So that is how it is there. This is the Vedic culture which has to come. It will take time. It is a work of centuries and centuries, but gradually it will happen. Okay. So that is how it has to be seen. That is how it has to be studied. The purpose, as Maharaj was speaking about, why we are doing all these things. This is the reason for it. Okay. So, are there any doubts, or else we can just call the course? No doubts. Okay, so thank you. So this does end our Ubhaya Vibhuti Varanam course. The recordings are there. You can listen to the course. I know it's difficult.
हाँ मैं
Please listen to
Hare
it.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Prabhuji, can I ask something?
Just a second, I will just. If someone wants, then we can actually switch off the recording question if you are afraid of the fact that it will be recorded and it will be put on YouTube. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu,
Yes.
I didn't have any doubt per se, but I had some requests. First of all, I wanted to thank you very much because I like you have given such detailed knowledge that it is so vast that you have covered it from all points of view. I noticed when you were talking about the Goloka chart, so you spoke from Jiva Goswami's commentary and then even Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So it's very well researched and well detailed. So thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that. And it actually, as Maharaj told today, that it sparks an interest. So it definitely does spark an interest that you want to learn more about it. So my request was, Prabhu, if after the course has comments of course it has comments today, if we have got some doubts regarding this course when we re-listening to the recording, so how can we approach you or contact you to get rid of those doubts? Is there anything possible in that way?
Yeah, yes. So the group is already there. The group will always be. And in the community also, you join the Bhaktivedanta community. And there is one more group which is actually created, but we will circle. So you be in the community. We will actually post message in the community. But we will form a separate group. Okay, Bhaktivedanta College inquiries. So all the courses which are done, not only, other Maharajas also taken a course, other speakers have also taken a course. So all the people they will be there. So attendance they can ask the doubt. That can be there. And of course the group is also there. Okay, but this inquiry is one which I'm saying is from a long-term perspective. But the group is there, in week or 2 weeks, you can ask out in the group. There's no problem, and ask in the group only. Or if you want to ask in person, then the number is also there. You can use. But why I'm saying in group is because then everyone, you know, all there, everyone will know the question will be answered. That's it.
Yes, Vijay, thank you so much. Also, Prabhu, I had a request. I recently came across your Veda Vriksha course. I did not know about it. I recently stumbled upon it while looking at the playlist of this, and that is also very intriguing. It is because it gives you pravesha into, from a very beginner's point of view, it gives you pravesha into the scriptures of what our Vedic culture holds. So that is also very nice. So I had a request, as you told in the first lecture, that in order to more relish these scriptures, one must know Sanskrit. But so my request was that, is there any chance or possibility of getting some Sanskrit course related to this, so that we can learn a little bit more about it?
So this courses which this is the second course. Veda Vriksha program, and Veda Vriksha program. It's actually a series of courses which is there. Now, what is course is there? What is the content? What will be there? I mean, okay. And as I had also said in one session, that it is actually agnostic to the level of the audience which is there, because audience is so difficult to understand so much. But it is there. It is for a purpose. Why the courses of that? Okay. You bring a benefit, that is one thing, but there are many other things which are there. One reason is my practice also, which is there. There is a version 2 which also comes when they will have some visual representations and other representations. In one course, there is a plan to have Sanskrit also, but that is a very distant. For you to learn Sanskrit, basically you're asking about you want to learn Sanskrit. That is what your thing is, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, to learn Sanskrit so that we can relish these scriptures of Acharyas
So,
more better.
Although we will have it on our course, but I'm not the proper person. I'm learning Sanskrit, but I'm learning Sanskrit. There are resources I will share in the group, or I can share you, uh, which are there for Sanskrit. There's one link. You text me personally. Yoga Sanskrit which is there. That is the basic Sanskrit which is there. You complete that about 100, 115 words. I had Sanskrit in my school. Then there was a gap for some years, and then to revise again, I had gone through this Sanskrit. So you can write this. This is the name. High School Sanskrit Vyoma Labs. You can write Sanskrit on YouTube, and you can find it. So, and it is done in English. So that is a good start point for you to have your to begin your study of Sanskrit. High School Sanskrit Vyoma. Yeah. So high school Sanskrit grammar made easy. There are 310 lessons which are there. But it's an amazing thing. So even if you have studied Hindi in your everyone has studied Hindi. If you know the Devanagari, okay, how it is written, from there from that it takes up to you have a good understanding. So you can listen to that course. Once that course is completed, you can maybe contact me if you still have the zeal and zest in yourself remaining to further continue, because people give up. Sanskrit is a very difficult thing. Vyagramukha, Gomukha Vyagra, and Nyaya is Vyagramukha God. It is mentioned that Sanskrit looks very easy, but it is like a tiger. It is said that it is like a Gomukha Vyagra. It looks like a cow. Very easy, simple, but when you go, it is very difficult. I'm not discouraging you. Please study. It is the need of the hour. So you complete that. It's a very good thing. You will have a very nice, and it is not that detailed, but the breadth is there. Okay? You complete that. Have you found? If you simultaneously search that, or I will share you the playlist. You can do that.
No, Prabhuji, I haven't searched. I was listening to you.
So you search that high school Sanskrit grammar made easy by humor. I will share the link. You can listen to that, and then I will share how it is. We have it in our course, but that is from a very different perspective. What is is that answer to your question? Anything else you have? Please.
Yes, Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And for in general, so for this course, now there are three modes of studying this. If you want to study it in a very detailed way, then again listen to the my course and make notes of it. I made notes of it. I mean, I remember the Gokula chart, which I had the seminar, which was 5 years back. I had first time heard of it. So I used to make the lecture notes and with a time period also. So lecture 4, 3 hours, 71 minutes. I mean, 1 hour, 21 minutes, 40 seconds. He's talking about this. So like that, I used to make, and then so that when again, so even before this course had commenced, I had to refer to something. I would just see the timing and used to listen. So it's a hard work. Hard work. It is there. You listen to that. You listen to the Bhagavad Cosmology course of Parmeshwar. You listen to the book. You listen to the Gokul Chandra Prabhu's lecture, and that is there. And you also read. Please read the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Log Bhagavatamrita, Bhagavatam, CC, Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can flow, not directly. It will be little difficult for you to understand. But Bhagavatamrita, Brihad Bhagavatam, they're still easy. Brihad Bhagavatam is a story. Amazing story. Okay, you will just rejoice it hearing. There is no philosophy also much, which is okay. So that is these things are there. So these resources which are there, please follow it. Those who are so this is very detailed one. Those who are not that very much interested, if you listen to this course, I can tell you that everything is covered. What is being covered? Because Bhagavad Gita is a huge book. It's a full book. Everything is there. But in this course, but every line then has to be heard. I mean, I just what I speak in one line, then they are elaborating because it's a very elaborating course. So that can be done from this course. Also, you can again and again listen to it. Doubts are there, you can ask. And those who are just for from a very bird's eye view. So if you have once heard the course, or if you just hear the conclusion of it, we have summarized everything in the conclusion. That is also sufficient for you. Just to know how, okay, there is something general, how, okay, this is there. So according to your need, you can have the course. Okay. So with that, we will, so there are no doubts. I think, so we will call for the day. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Sunmandi Divya Save Vedai Sangha Pada Krama Upanishide Kayanti Yam Samada Dhyana Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yastyantam na vidu sura gana devaya tasmai namaha. Om Purnadaha Purnaidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shila Prabhupada ki Jai.